Well, hello there, and welcome to an Evening in 10 Forward, installment number 98. I am your host for this evening. We are going to be getting, I believe we're going to be getting some people into the stream in just a short while to discuss the fantastic episode of Strange New Worlds. Fantastic in all the wrong ways, of course. We'll be diving into a little bit more into that and the review that I did on my channel, sort of building on that. And we'll be discussing some more Star Trek news as well. I hope you're all okay where you are. Certainly been one of the hottest weeks in the UK at the moment. I really did struggle to do my video during the heat wave, I suppose you could call it. As in my my little filming area, it was 34 degrees. 34 degrees when I did that video. I did attempt to do a paper crafting stream earlier today, but my it was just way too hot up there. I couldn't get anything to work properly. Technology seems to not be enjoying the hot weather. I hope you all are getting some enjoyment out of it, as well as being warned by the UK government not to ignite barbecues in dry fields, because we all need that reminder. Obviously, absolutely ridiculous. All getting pretty much a heart attack as our phones just go into full alert mode. So yeah, we're going to be discussing the latest episode of Strange New Worlds. Now, I'm beginning to lose patience with this show. Not that I had too much to begin with. To really think about it, it's getting harder and harder to have to sit through this absolute load of crap. Hello, Stephen Bromby. Hello, Guna. Guna will be joining the stream in a little while. The future is not bright, sadly. It's black and white. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Not a hint of sarcasm there. DM citing it as fantastic. Ew, it's all sarcasm. I think you know that by now. Did you all get the warning? Yes, we did. Pretty much everyone in the house got the warning that everyone's phone went off at the same time. You know, it's supposed to be an emergency broadcasting thing. Instead, they've decided to use it to tell us what not to do with barbecues, because we don't want to be setting off wildfires as we're trying to enjoy the heat somewhat. I personally don't enjoy the heat, but I'd rather, I don't know about you guys, but I'd much rather be able to warm up than cool down. Sarcasm detected, yeah. I think filming a normal crossroad in a random city in black and white would have been more interesting than this episode. This episode was interesting. Again, sarcasm alert. Again, in all the wrong ways. The episode was a narrative mess. It relied heavily on near statistical improbabilities. And it didn't seem to have any sort of coherent message as far as many people could tell. It was simply people saying things because it's on the script. No one, I really genuinely don't think people actually pay attention to what it is they're actually performing, certainly the actors. You remember classic Trek, with a lot of classic Trek, the actors did have the input and they did have the ability to say, really, does my character behave like this? And, you know, is it really a viable decision for my character to make? They did have some narrative input, certainly where they feel maybe the writers slipped up, and if there were no changes to be made, then there were no changes to be made. Don't forget to hit that like button on the stream. That really does help the stream to reach new places and bring new people on board to the channel. I do these streams for a hobby. I don't really get paid too much for it. I think I made 60 pence last month. Yeah, do remember to hit the like button, and yeah, we'll get into the episode in a little while. Just catch up with all of you guys. What did you think to the review? I value some feedback when it comes to my reviews, because they are they're relatively short form. They're not a deep dive. They are my initial thoughts on the episode. I film them immediately after I've watched the episode. Are we sure people wrote this? Because with AI, you would have had at least an excuse for a logical leaps they do. Yeah. I don't really. I think that there must be, and this is just conjecture, I think there must be an element of AI script writing within the process that they follow. The button, a like button has been liked. Stephen Bromby, legend as always. Thank you very much, and thank you to everyone else who has hit that like button on the stream. I will bring up the slideshow, which always begins with the 60th anniversary celebration with the 5 classic Star Trek and all the useless crap that's come after it. And Voyager's nacelles are still in a non-warp form factor. So yeah, they just couldn't really get that right, could they? Oh god. Oh, the NX-01 turning into Discovery is surreal as hell. It's not very good. I really don't like the fact that there's not been anything celebratory really coming out of Paramount. Nothing mainstream celebratory coming out of Paramount. I know that Star Trek Las Vegas, from everything that I've been told by people who have gone there, predominantly has been celebrating classic Trek, the Trek that came before, not the narcissistic new Trek. There were new Trek actors there, but the lines were very, very short, and people genuinely aren't interested in this new Trek. And I agree with some guys out there who have said that the classic Star Trek audience is aging out in certain respects. And instead of passing the baton to the younger generation, we have the younger generation deciding what the younger generation want from a show that they have absolutely no idea how to process. They know nothing about the universe of Star Trek, and they don't care enough. They're not autistic, they're narcissistic. From what I heard, nothing of New Trek was on sale anywhere there. Yeah, I heard this exactly the same thing. And we've made this point on the stream before, that there's a lot of demand for OG Star Trek merchandise. Certainly on bidding sites like eBay and places like that, and specialist comic book shops and stuff like that. There's a real desire for the classic merchandise to make a comeback, and it's highly sought after. The new Trek merchandise, I'll be honest with you, a lot of it has to be given away in mystery boxes. My system's messing up again, just bear with me. It told me the Internet Explorer had to restart due to an update, and I told it another time, and it decided 5 minutes later that was another time, so technically not wrong. But yes, if you go back to the 90s and the very early noughties, the sheer amount of specialist model kits you could get of the various Star Trek shows, the micro machines had a run. They were fantastic little things. They were to display and muck about with. Hello, James Caserta. It's been a while. How are you? Trek was broken because its premise was fatally flawed, as in all the aliens speak English. Well, that's simply not the case. So, if you're familiar with the film The Hunt for Red October, The crew of the Red October are speaking Russian for a good portion of the beginning of the film, and then the language switches to English because it's easier on the actors and it's easier on the audience. But in world, they are still speaking Russian, much in the same way with Star Trek. No one's speaking English apart from the humans and the aliens that have learned to speak English. It's all handled by the universal translator, which is built into their comm badges. So although we see their lips moving, it's generally accepted that it's to be interpreted that they are speaking of their native language. This has happened before in the episode Little Green Men, where the guys on the military base could not understand Quark, Rom, and Nog because they were speaking negative tongue, and the universal translators weren't working. So yeah, the rest is open to interpretation. So I'm not sure I agree with that particular statement there, James. But and you know, I my nana, bless her, when she was around. This is years ago now. She says, "Oh, there's one thing I don't understand about Star Trek. How come they all look human? How come they've all got..." And I says, well, firstly, you know, actors have to play these roles. It's very expensive to create an alien such as, you know, species 8472. Hello, Planet X87. How are you? Yeah, it's very expensive to do CGI, so you do have to have actors playing aliens. But, you know, I genuinely think The Chase explained it fairly well. The Chase had a premise that there was a progenitor race that seeded the galaxy with their own DNA and the primordial oceans of these different worlds, and life evolved to be fairly similar because it's all based on on original DNA. And again, Star Trek intelligent enough with the writing to be able to explain that away. And I thought that was a very, very cool explanation as to why they all look human in prosthetics. But, you know, just brief on a brief tangent, New Trek in general does have human actors in prosthetics playing just humans because they don't know how to play Vulcans, for example. They just put the rubber ears on and act like humans, but stoic humans. Not even stoic, I would say. I have an idea of who's in charge now because I got a business degree, and literally sorry, mate, it's a bit far away. The 11th thing you can learn, I would say that's the first thing you can learn, only change when the market demands. Yeah, and the market does demand. The market does demand, does it not? They have had plenty of chances to or cut the rubber ears off. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Welcome, annoying critic. It's good to have you here. Yeah, it's absolute craziness what the fact that they seem to just keep going down this road where no money's getting made. The franchise has lost such monumental value that it can no longer be sustained. You know, there are no new Star Trek projects in production. Now, there is a movie that's supposed to be set 1,000 years or so into Starfleet's future. It's like, well, the premise itself has already been done by one of the worst Star Trek shows that has ever been conceived of in modern times, and that's Discovery. And people just switched off to it because they couldn't relate to anything that was going on. So setting something so far, they really don't understand what it is that they have done to Star Trek. Setting something so far in the future as to get us far away from this new apparent canon isn't going to work. It's just going to alienate the pre-existing audience because no one's going to be able to relate. What does the Federation look like 1,000 years in the future? Well, if Discovery is anything to go by, it's an absolute mess that needs Michael Burnham to save the bloody day. It makes no sense, and I cannot understand why these executives are so out of touch with everything in the world. It's just absolute insanity to me. It makes absolutely no sense. as I welcome Guna to the stream, sir. How are you? For all you Americans out there, don't worry about the name. Don't let that put you off. Guna's a lovely guy.
Yes. Yeah. How are you, DM? I'm good. Thank you for having me on as always. Really appreciate that, and I hope you are well and coping in this melting heat that we're experiencing at the moment.
It's nice to have another Brit on the stream to be able to tell everybody just how bad it is.
It's bad, isn't it? It's bad.
It's not pleasant. We'll put it that way. Let us know in the chat if you can hear Guna fine. You're a little bit quiet, sir, but to be fair, my balance is all off. You're absolutely fine. I can hear you and everything.
Yeah?
Just let us know, guys, if there are any sound changes that need to be made, and we'll get straight to it. Guna, you had the alert that tells you not to light your own farts, right?
Yeah, exactly that. And I think for me it's important because when I do fart, they're like elephant farts, so it's a good thing.
Yes. I have the image of Sarah Connor at the park banging on the fence, saying, "Get out of there! Get out of there!"
What did you do?
Sarah Connor is no more.
Exactly,
Angel Pierre says modern writers destroyed Doctor Who, Star Wars, and Star Trek. All the old guard is gone, and why? Because they want us to consume the new stuff only, and even worse, they believe it's working. Yeah, they seem to be under this massive, this mass delusion that what they've created is somehow amazing, and they can't figure out why it's not working. It's just insanity. So, I suppose, really, I'm not sure if Xell is joining us. I think he may try and join us a little bit later. I think he's preoccupied at the moment, and Watch Nerd has not yet watched the episode, so she's going to sit this one out and be back next week for the Muppets in Space. Guna, this episode, I take it you have seen.
Oh, 100% I've seen it.
And I take it by your tone, we're pretty much on the same page.
We are, but I have to say one thing. So if you had and I won't use the word in its normal guise, I'll say shite. Mm-hmm. If you had a shite list, I wouldn't actually say this is the shitiest one, only because there was some kind of plot. And when I say this, I say it very, very loosely. So bear with me on this. The one I thought was the worst was the one that, with the plant and the fact that he mind melds of the plant. For me, that was just a stupid episode. At least this had some kind of story, as weak as it was. So I wouldn't put it as the shitiest, but it falls, well, all of them, Strange New Worlds, especially season 3, all of season 4, it all falls under the shite list for me. It's just ridiculous. If you then analyze it and look beyond whatever weak story it did have or try to have, I completely agree with you. The writing is so weak. And I was listening earlier before I came on. You hit the nail on the head when you said they're just reading lines. They're not even, I don't even think they're engaged. I don't even think they understand what they're saying. They're just reading from whatever they use, whether they've rote memory, learned the lines, or they are reading from one of those what are they called? You know what I mean?
Teleprompters.
I think that's it. The prompters. I don't know. I know Marlon Brando used to act like that, but I think most of the actors these days just memorize them. But I don't think they have any feeling when they're acting at all. I really don't. I just feel that they're so disjointed from this, and they're just under contract and they've got to do it. And I'm sure a lot of these actors, they can't all be that stupid. They must be thinking, this is really, really bad, but they just don't want to challenge it or say anything. And you were right. I think in the olden days, with the TV and films the way they used to be, I think sometimes the actors step in and say, no, I don't agree with this. I don't think they should be doing this or saying this or behaving in a certain way when they're delivering the lines, because it doesn't suit the character. And I think nowadays this lot just don't. I think they don't care. I think they just wanted it done, finished quickly, as little as the outtakes as possible. Just get it filmed, and then get out of there. That's the impression I get. I mean, I could be wrong, but that's the impression I get. But this story, it had so many just so much ridiculousness in it. And I know we'll cover it probably a bit more chronologically, but I just want to say one thing. How is it that this so-called super brat, this new super brat, and I've been through a few recently in the stuff that I've watched, but this is a new one. Mariner was there, then you had blooming Michael Burnham, and now you've got this Vulcan. I don't even know her name. I don't want to know her name. I don't care. And she's a cadet. How is it that she can get so lippy with all the officers around her? But this one, I think I put it in the comment in your review. La'an was bossing around Kirk and Spock in that Event Horizon episode. I'll call it Event Horizon. But in this Metropolis episode, she was almost scared to challenge this cadet when she's giving her an order, telling her what to do. When she says, no, my priority is to help Spock do this, so piss off. No, I've just told you to do something. I'm a superior officer. No, she didn't say a word. She tried to almost do it in a nice, softly approach. And that goes against how they're actually portraying La'an at the moment, which is this is the contradiction. They're showing her to be quite aggressive, speaking her mind, challenging Pike all the time, challenging Spock all the time, but she can't challenge the cadet.
Mm.
And this is a real gripe for me, that, like you say in your reviews, pretty much all of them in recent New Trek, that there's no consistency even within the episodes. And why couldn't this actress say, this isn't La'an? She shouldn't be cowering to this cadet. The way you're showing her to become, they're obviously building up to something here with her relationship to Khan Noonan Singh, and all of a sudden she cows into a little mouse with this cadet. I don't understand why none of the bridge officers say to her, you know what, shut your mouth and do as you're told. You're a cadet. Shut up.
Do you remember, is it Paradise Lost, the two-parter DS9 episode, and Ben Sisko, he brings in Cadet Shepard and roasts the living shite out of him.
Yeah,
and
I remember.
You cadets did some sloppy work, didn't you? Some damn sloppy work. And that's the cadets are at the bottom of the food chain. They are young people who need guidance and need direction and need to be put in their bastard place. And that Vulcan is a prime, I say it's a prime example, it's just the most recent example of how a cadet can be wholly insubordinate, and how these officers on this supposed, I'd say military ship, because it's ran like the Navy, how these officers have absolutely zero backbone, and everything's so modern. It's like, oh, she's just lippy. I'll tell you something. Occasionally, I have a disagreement with my wife on how to handle our ever increasingly robust teenagers with their back chat, and she's beginning to say, yeah, no way are you talking to us like that. No way are you doing that. Absolutely not. Buck your ideas up. And this is not even the military. Can you imagine someone in, say, for example, the Royal Navy, turning to the commanding officer and saying, I ain't got time for that shite. I'm under orders from this person to do this. Instead of saying, well, this is now a priority, and you're simply a cadet, and you need to do what you're effing told. I'm so sick and tired of these characters. I agree with you. Well, I will just say, Guna, that the reason, this is not a justification, but the reason I say that this is probably one of the worst episodes I've seen is it's so narratively dependent on complete and utter coincidence that you cannot suspend your disbelief in the slightest.
No, that's what I was saying. I wasn't disagreeing with you.
No,
what I was trying to say is, I agree with you. The writing is pathetic. It's contrived and lazy writing, and it doesn't make sense anyway. But what I was trying to say, at least this had some sort of story in the last episode. What the hell was that? There was no story really. Oh yeah, they hid the shuttle because of X, Y, and Z. But it just was a real pathetic attempt at trying to be funny. And to be honest, I've not found any new Trek funny. I can't recall. I just haven't found it funny. They try and be comical, and it's almost like so cringe. Now, if you ever watched The Office with Ricky Gervais, his cringe is funny cringe. It's clever cringe. It's cringe on an intellectual level almost. It's that good.
Yes.
This is cringe that has failed badly.
Oh, intellectually, yes, it's absolutely.
Well, there's no intellect. What is there if you think about it? And this is why I'm questioning the actors, because surely one of them should say this isn't right. You know, my character wouldn't do this, wouldn't say this. Please, can we change it or alter it slightly? You know, and without trying to become a call mutiny on the writers, or the directors or whoever it is that produced this bollocks. But at least, have some say. Maybe they do. We're not privy to it, but it doesn't come across that way. It's almost as if they're just, as I said, they're just doing their lines and they're just getting on with it, because even they probably think hopefully they think it's a pile of crap, which it is. But yeah, I struggle. I really struggle. I mean, I was core. Oh my God. Oh Jesus Christ. It's again destroying legacy characters. There was no need for it. And then, as you said, it's just coincidence after coincidence. And I saw another reviewer actually, and he was saying pretty much the same thing as you were. A whole planet, and they can't find anywhere to hide. Are you serious? Are you actually thinking that we're that stupid? That the viewers are going to think, oh yeah, look, there's nowhere to hide. No, God. But you actually end up landing where you are a doppelganger of the Resistance
Leader. Oh my God, we'll get into that. Don't worry. Don't you worry about that.
I'll let you now flow with the.
No, I'm just going to catch up with the chat a little bit, because we've got some new people in. Annoying Critic is in the chat, and Angels Pierre, how are you? It's good to have you here. Why is everything so blurry? If you mean with the stream, just set it to 1080. It should come up. If you mean with the episode, it's because they have no idea how to film noir. It's really hilarious. Annoying because Paramount can't afford enough pixels in their $10 million per episode budget. Oh dear. Annoying Critic says film noir needs to be hard and deep focus. Yeah, one of my favourite film noir, certainly modern day film noir films, is Sin City. That looked beautiful as a movie, as a piece of art. It was fantastic, and followed certainly the first film followed the graphic novels almost scene for scene, and it was just glorious to behold. Aussie Bob, welcome to the stream. It's good to have you here. Annoying Critic, I was just over to saying it's worse simply because the moral of the story is the Federation isn't always right. Yeah, they have a serious problem with the Federation, these New Trek writers. They do not like the Federation. They don't like the idea of it, which is, I find, really strange. And it's, again, just a narcissistic way of trying to destroy, a utopia. And it's like, oh, it could never be a utopia. We can't have a utopia. It's like, that's not the point. The point is it's something that we strive for. MIF 801. I wonder why I still hope and had an optimistic start of every season, just to be punched in the face by the XX and the writers. Greetings from insanely hot Germany to sweating England. Yeah, my friend, it's good to have you here, of course. Germany's just as hot. I'll be honest with you, it's probably hotter there than it is here, and here is very uncomfortable. I actually said to the wife, I'm just sick of this heat. I want it to F off now. I wonder if there is a clone factory putting out Unas. Well, to be fair, there would have been some explanation. And the official explanation, I said in my review there was no explanation. I was, in fact, incorrect. There was an explanation. It was just like, well, statistically speaking, the universe is big enough for two people to be exactly the same and have everyone have a doppelganger. It's like, okay, so statistically, are you going to go chasing after a probe that's wandered into Klingon space, retrieve the probe, send it back to the Enterprise, and the one planet you have to perform an emergency landing on, and right next to this city is going to be the exact location of the person who looks exactly like you? I'm sorry, I don't buy it. ever. Not even. It's like, well, how are you going to do? Again, it's just it's pitch meeting, isn't it? Okay, so but do you realise how statistically unlikely that is? Oh, hey, shut up! It's like that.
Just to interject very quickly on that one as well. Even if the universe, in all its vastness, was just full of humanoids or humanoids that look human, right? Even then, there's a possibility. Fine, but we know from Star Trek or the Star Trek universe that we've been, that we are well aware of. All the humanoids don't look the same. So to go onto a planet in the first instance, which is that happens to be that one, which has got a complete lookalike of her. Why is it that it just doesn't make sense? Because are they humans? What are they? I don't know. Are we led to believe that these people on this planet are all humans? I don't know. I didn't even bother to
have no idea. I have no idea.
Exactly. But the point I'm making is, if the whole universe is just everyone look like us, then fair enough. Maybe there is a chance.
Yeah.
But they won't look exactly like us unless they're a clone or a twin. It's just impossible. You can't look exactly the same. And to have even the same hairstyle? I mean, come on.
God, it was so ridiculous. It's just beyond stupid. And again, it's just she's got a doppelganger because of reasons. It's like, oh well, I mean, there was an episode in the Orville where it's actually mentioned it's statistically likely that there's another human, a group of humans out there that aren't going to be exactly humans, but there are a group of humans out there, and the planet evolved very much like Earth. They have motor vehicles and coffee shops and stuff. Statistically, with the amount of habitable planets in the universe, it's going to happen, and it just so happens they do come across it, and you can believe that. But I'm sorry that even I would have even had a go at the Orville if they had, I don't know, John Lamar's double on that planet as well. It's just complete stupidity. It's completely ridiculous. Stephen Bromby says, I reckon the actors are in lockstep with the writers, or they don't have the stones to stand up to the writers when they make awful decisions in the script. Do you reckon Hemmer's actor spoke up at all? They literally threw him overboard.
I hope he did. I hope the guy, what's his name, who played Lorca?
Jason Isaacs.
Yeah, I hope he did, and I hope the one who played
Jason
Shaw
Isaacs wouldn't, mate. He's a massive lefty loony. He was one of the ones that led the take the knee movement in the Discovery team.
Oh right,
it's a shame. Okay. From my perspective, it's a shame. Actually, sorry.
No, go on.
That's all right. Actually, he even stole that from a Brian De Palma movie, Femme Fatale, where Rebecca Romaine plays two characters that look the same. Look it up. Oh, good grief! Again, it's just it's not They're not writing Star Trek. They're writing Star Trek Does. That's it. That's all they're doing. Star Trek Does. Star Trek Does Event Horizon. Star Trek Does 65. Star Trek Does The Hangover. Star Trek Does Angel. It's just
Jurassic Park.
Yeah, just write fucking Star Trek. It's not that hard. If an actor plays two roles in the show, did they get paid for two roles, or just the one, or just for the one show? I don't know. I have no idea. I've never thought to ask, mate. Blimey, the chat's going at quite a speed here. Actor showcases auditioning for the next gigs. Yeah, that's what they do. The work they do. It is a portfolio. Matt Ross is in the stream. Hello there. Who didn't like Casablanca? Casablanca is one of those films I've never seen.
I think it's something else, not quite Casablanca there if you read it again.
Sorry?
It's not quite Casablanca if you read it properly.
Well, no. But it's the thing is it's they're referencing so much. You're not going to have bloody seen it all anyway. When they are going. Sorry, I'm a bit further behind the chat, mate. I want to make sure everything gets read. When are they going to talk louder than a whisper? Yeah, and Benga annoys me as well, because he's just like, I'm going to tell you a little secret now. I have been, and it's so quiet, and he just knows everything about this fucking world as well. Everything. It's like, what? Yeah, how do you know all this? Oh, that's hence why they wear the armbands. It's like, oh, and we will get further into this episode in a little while. Just bear with us. Owen, hi. Hello, Matt Ross. It's always good to have you here. Why does she look the same as the Resistance leader? So the show can happen. Yeah. So that's so the movie can happen, sir. The alien fedora business is a big money maker. If the story was really, really good, I'd gladly forget about the doppelganger thing. Yeah, exactly. With the Orville, the story was good, so you forgave it. And you could suspend your disbelief because you were entertained. This was not entertaining. So the guy who killed the doppelganger doesn't remember she's dead. What have all the IQs dropped on this planet? We know that happened with the writing. Yeah, you're quite right. Why does Strange New World's version of the Enterprise looks so ruddy ugly? It's got its positive angles, I suppose, but yeah, it's not quite as it could be worse. Yeah, why is everyone lying and hiding official business on the Enterprise? Yeah, there's a lot that doesn't make it into the reports. The very purpose of the doppelganger was to compare the Klingons' mistreatments of Navette with the Federation mistreatment of Una. Repulsive. Yeah, it didn't land, narratively speaking. And he was gaslighting fans in interviews for not liking Discovery as well. Yeah, he was. Jason Isaacs, yeah. Watching Star Trek, the original series this week, spotted Dr. Mbenga in that episode. TOS had better hair. Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, for those who don't know what happens in the episode, I can honestly tell you this episode is a complete waste of your time. That you gain nothing from it. If you can believe it, that people have said you clearly haven't watched the original series. They did goofy stuff all the time. True. They were telling science fiction in the 1960s and 70s. Of course it was going to be out there. Of course they were going to have all these ideas. But this is a modern science fiction show. You cannot, you can pay homage to to TOS, but you can't go full freaking wacky with it the same way as they could back then. The show had to evolve, and it did. Through 5 series of televisions, it evolved into something incredible. And now it's just devolved back into just pure goofy gimmicks. The Enterprise...
Sorry, but even it was made in the 60s. The series, the original series, all made in the 60s. It was the swinging 60s. I think we mentioned this last week.
Yeah.
So you got to take that. You got to look at the context of when it was being made. You know, it's a completely different era. But even then, despite that, they still made the ship with science. They still made a lot of the equipment. You mentioned it last week, and it's a fact. You know that they're almost close with the equivalent of the hyperspray. The communicators, well, they're essentially our mobile phones that we carry. All of us, literally every one of us, carries nowadays and relies on. You know, there's still a lot of credibility with the original series, despite being made 60 years ago. Over 60 years, isn't it? Of course. So it's like 60 years in going forward, and this is what we get. I mean, it's unreal. If you look how much technology, look how much actually even maybe for, well, I think in my opinion for the worse, but the human race has evolved even in 60 years, which isn't a big period of time, but actually it is in terms of technology at least. And they come up with this. There are, I know for a fact there are some very talented writers out there, very talented, but they're just being shut out.
Because they're threatened.
Yeah,
they are threatened. Do you know if I was if I was in charge of Star Trek, in a parallel universe, there's a version of Danger Man, and he is in charge of Star Trek. And he's probably doing just as bad a job, to be fair, because I'm not that creative. But I'm in charge of Star Trek in a parallel universe, and I'm a bit stuck because I don't have any legacy writers. Who am I going to hire? I'm gonna start looking for talent on the one place you are going to find it for sure, and it's going to be easy to find. You're going to find talented writers out there on the internet, in the fan base. You're going to, the first person I would call is the critical drinker. Like him or not, I would call the critical drinker and say, right, I'd like you to come on board as a writer for Star Trek. I'd get in touch with Robert Meyer Burnett, and I'd say, I want you involved as well. No, Stephen Bromby, I would not go near that app with a 10-foot pole. That's a very different kind of Star Trek. But no, I'd go out there and talent scout. I'd be watching YouTube like a hawk, because YouTube, I hate to use the word influencers, because it's just ridiculous, a ridiculous word to attribute to people. But, the drinker does have a lot of influence. Gary Buechler from Nerdrotic, he does have a lot of influence. People's opinions are molded by these individuals. Hell, get Andy Weir on board. He approached them to say he wanted to write them. Get Seth MacFarlane on board. Get all these talented and creative people. Instead, they literally cherry pick people who have written completely different genres, and very poorly, I might add, completely different genres, and bring them into suddenly writing science fiction, and they don't have a clue. There's no legacy sci-fi writers on New Trek. It's an absolute disgrace what they're doing. And they expect Star Trek fans to like it, and then, and I was, I think it was a comment on my video, where someone has said, you go into these Facebook groups, and we've spoken about this before, but you go into these Facebook groups, and they're just overwhelmingly positive. But if you look at the numbers, it's like some of the posts on Star Trek, the main Facebook Star Trek page, which is vetted and it's official and everything, they're getting like 300-400 likes or 300-400 interactions. That's nothing. They're just full of bots and gaslighters. And I said, there's one of two possibilities. Either it's just full of bots, in which case you're just going to get artificial inflation of their echo chamber, or legacy Star Trek fans have been so sick and tired of being gaslit everywhere that they go, insulted, and driven out of these spaces, where to the point where they just cannot be bothered to argue with idiots. And it's shameful. It's shameful that this is what it's come to the point where I believe the New Trek Sucks discussion group and Star Trek, where we pretend New Trek doesn't exist, those two groups combined have more followers than the official Star Trek page.
It's crazy.
It's bizarre. The fan base is Star Trek. The IP may be owned by Paramount, but the fan base is Star Trek.
It is, and
it forever shall be.
I'd add one more to your list of examples. I know it was only an example list, but the channel's friend Carlos, of course.
Carlos would be my first hire.
Yeah, 100%.
That simple. He would be my very first hire. The guy who made a 12-minute Star Trek mini-film and got 30+ million views in an unlisted video.
Unbelievable.
And created one of the most beautiful segments of Star Trek I have ever seen. And the Carlos Bina will forever be in my love letter to life. That man is an incredible human being. He's incredibly talented. He's a beautiful human being, and he created something, and he directed something so bloody perfect.
Yeah.
And the detractors of that certainly showed their true effing colours, didn't they? When they were, especially when one of the videos against it was a deep fake fan wank. It's like, you are just so bitter that your ridiculous rendition of Star Trek is not actually doing anything that it should do, and it's not reaching the audiences you and your narcissistic ways want it to reach. Carlos Bina is an absolute legend, and I really wish he had more time to talk to me, because we do message every now and then, and he is just such a fantastic human being. He helped set my daughter on the right path. She wants to get into animation, and he helped with that, and I'm forever grateful to that man. And what a legend. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I appreciate you bringing Carlos into this, because the guy he's a true friend, just a lovely gentleman. James Caserta says meritocracy and exceptionalism is a cardinal sin. Yeah, it is in New Trek. Yet it was the guiding foundations of the Federation in the older series. The Federation was something to be looked up to and aspire to, and now it's just in the dirt. Guys out there, don't forget to like the stream if you haven't already. It would be very much appreciated. Share the stream with your friends. Anyone who's a Trek fan, please tell them all about An Evening in 10 Forward. We are fast approaching our 100th installment. That will be in 2 weeks' time. I've already set a date in my calendar, and trust me, I'll be scheduling that stream nice and early, and it's going to be a long stream. So people will be more than welcome to pop in and say hello in the Discord and come onto the stream. As long as you've been vetted first, I want everyone there as much as possible. So we have a super chat, by the way, from Matthew Ross, the legend that is Matthew Ross. Please check out Yelling at Gaseous Anomalies podcast. Such a true gentleman is Matt, and a great friend to the channel. Thank you so much, Matt, for Treks and Crafts, which is way better than any of those Trek shows. Thank you so much. Yes, thank you, Matt Ross. The crafting that I do, I'm absolutely loving it. I've got a full list of at least 30 streams planned to do more paper crafting, not just Star Trek related, but other things as well. So pop over to UKDM-art YouTube channel and go and hit subscribe over there, because I will be live streaming all future paper crafting over there. It's so much fun, and it's so nice when people join. So thank you, Matt Ross, for that lovely super chat. You're an absolute legend. Thank you for the $10. Dana Horgan is best known for Star Trek Strange New Worlds 2022, Supergirl, and Once Upon a Time. And that should tell you everything that you need to know, because Once Upon a Time was utter crap. It was absolute horseshit. Supergirl 2015, it's not the modern Supergirl, is it? That's the show. But it's not Star Trek, is it? And Once Upon a Time is all about fairy tales and magic. And that does not effing surprise me. At all. Just bring Star Trek writers in. Bring science fiction writers in. You don't take science fiction writers and ask them to write Gilmore Girls. It's not, they don't go on to write on, much loved shows called Days of Our Effing Lives. It's Star Trek. Now you're making me think about show making in the Terran universe. Having to kill your way into getting the role, or being a director at a writer's room, would be survival of the fittest. You just have to outright people. There wouldn't have to be any violence. You just have to outright people. It's all part of destroying Western civilization. I would have to agree with elements of that, yes. So many of the fan series are out there, so much better than New Trek. Yep, absolutely. There's a lot of effort that's been put in by a lot of great people. Axanar has been very mixed. It's had some problems. It has some ups and downs. I don't think Robert Meyer Burnett's a massive fan of the new Axanar film and the what's his name? Something Peters. The guy who's running Axanar at the minute. I know that they had a bit of a fallout. Axanar was a little bit messy in terms of stuff that happened in the background. But yeah, Star Trek continues. That is something I've still yet to watch, and I really, to be fair, I need to sit down and watch that. Fan series with Vic Migona continues. Was more authentic Trek than strange new garbage. Yeah, absolutely. They should hire real writers. There's so many writers who have written great Star Trek on TV, printed novels, and comics. Yeah. This was the knocking it down stage. Yeah. Alec Peters did Axanar. Yes, thank you. It was Alec Peters. But yeah, so many great fan projects out there. And instead we're treated to this absolute drivel. This absolute mess. And, you want to do a film noir, you want to do this, set it on the blasted holodeck, that technology that they shouldn't have yet. That once again they had the technology on the original Enterprise, the holodeck technology, which looks strangely enough like the Enterprise D holodeck. But the technology wasn't ready yet, so they shelved it, just like the blasted Discovery. Ugh, ridiculous. But if you're going to do it as, I don't know, do it as a shipwide hallucination or something. What you don't do is you don't have a... it's like they wanted to do a film noir, so they said, how are we going to do it? Well, the ingredients are... it's going to be set... The planet's going to exist on the border of Klingon and Federation space. It's going to be a Klingon-occupied planet where all the Klingons look like complete and utter divas. Its star is going to have or going to emit radiation that makes you colorblind, so everyone sees in black and white. And the style is going to be retro-futuristic, sort of Sky Captain, I would say Bioshock and the original Flash Gordon-esque style. And we're not sure about the species, but we'll just make them look human. Oh God, I'm sorry, Gunnar. I've just seen the quote unquote torture scene of Uhura where she goes,
"Oh God, please don't get me started on it."
It punishes her for lying, and she goes, "I'm not a puppet. I'm a real boy." And I'm sorry, but she wasn't being tortured. What? She looked mildly kerfuffed. Didn't she? She just looked a little bit sort of put out for being there rather than being tortured.
Yes, exactly. Those things look like the heat lamps you get in beer gardens in the winter. That's what they look like.
She's just sitting there going, "There are 26 lights."
It's like, what kind of torture is that? It's like, now while I was watching that, all I could think of was the utterly magnificent performance by Patrick Stewart in Chain of Command.
Yeah, and David Warner. Yeah,
and that for me is television at its peak.
Yeah,
and he studied torture. He actually went and spoke to people who had been tortured. He'd done so much homework. He even read up on the people who inflict the torture as well. So he was well versed in what he was doing. But the way he carried out the pain that he was experiencing, his facial contortions, everything, unbelievably, it deserved so many awards. That I don't know if it got the awards, but if it didn't, it deserved everything. Unbelievable performance. And what you get here, you get some flipping beer garden heat lamps and some silly little bint going.
But don't forget, we also in this episode have we have Strange New Worlds version of Core.
Yes.
And he goes, I'm afraid you are misguided. What the fuck was I wasn't the only one who heard that right.
No,
He was misguided. What the fucking hell? Yeah, I'm sorry, that character is not Core. That is not Core. Core was a great character. I think they really did him justice in Deep Space Nine as well. He was superb, and there's something. It's John Colicos, isn't it? John Colios.
Yeah.
And he is absolutely fantastic in that role. You know, it's just his mannerisms are so perfect. He's almost I'd say a wily, guily Klingon. You know, the way he speaks is he knows how to goad, and he goads Kirk. In the original series, he goads Worf in DS9. He goads Martok. You know, he's not a character that they could portray, and that's just proven here time and time again. That is not Core. I'm sorry, that is not
Who
Core.
were the three? It was Core, Kang, and who was the other one?
Koloth.
Koloth, that's it.
Yeah.
Core, Kang, Koloth, yes. The 3 Ks, yes, that's right. And they were all in the original series, weren't they? The same actors.
Yes, they were. And they reprised their roles in Deep Space Nine. Blood Oath. And it was a great episode where you finally see them all together again after all these years. You know,
so cool.
And again,
so cool.
if they cared about canon, of course, none of the Klingons would have forehead ridges. Because they lost them in Enterprise, but you know they don't care about that. Fuzz793 says, "Thank you so much for watching this. I am out for the rest. The Haunting of Event Star Trek followed by The Hangover. Light is how I'm ending this modern Trek. You're going out on a low note, definitely. You wouldn't have missed anything by watching this episode of Star Trek. You wouldn't have missed a damn thing. It was horrendous in so many ways. It's poor Core third's cousin, fourth removed. Yeah, his cousin's brother's former roommate. It's Core, absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, look, they go to the breakdown of the episode. If you've not seen my review and you've not seen the episode, is the Enterprise has to chase after a probe that's gone into Klingon territory. They send a shuttlecraft with Una, Uhura, and Mbenga in to go and retrieve it in a system that's really weird because it's got this radiation that makes you essentially colorblind, makes you see in black and white. They happen to stumble across a D7, and instead of turning around with the probe and following the probe out of sensor range, they've got no other choice but to go down to the planet. There's an entire fucking planet below them, but they decide they can only go to the place with the metropolistic or futuristic metropolis city below, and they head into town after replicating some appropriate clothing. They head into town, and Una is immediately recognized as the leader of a resistance against the Klingons because it's the Klingon-occupied territory. And then there's a bunch of ridiculous crap that happens throughout the episode, and they eventually liberate the planet, I suppose, of Klingons, and that's it. The rest is absolutely nothing you need to know. It's just filler of the worst kind because it's not even very well conceived.
They even tried to put a subplot into this story.
Yeah,
that was utter pants.
Yeah, it didn't. I'm sorry, but yeah. So La'an's carrying out an investigation on the Enterprise, which is also in black and white, by the way. And she's carrying out this investigation because there was a secret. Someone's outside.
Can I just ask?
Someone outside shouting.
Yeah, very quickly.
Of course.
Sorry. just this black and white part of it. Now, I understand if the radiation is affecting whatever the sensory organs, in terms of, in this case, your optics, and that's how you're seeing things. But surely, if you're on the ship, you are immediately protected from any kind of radiation.
Which shields, right?
Yeah, because you have shields. Otherwise, they'd all be dead, right? So how is it that there's still? You see, it would have been a little bit more believable if the shots that were done on the ship, or even the shuttlecraft, if they were in color, then everything else. Then even then, you'd think, well, all right, okay, that kind of, at least they've explained that. But again, they've completely foregone any science or scientific approach on this.
Well, it would have been interesting if they'd have done half of the film noir, like you say. As the shuttlecraft approaches closer to the system, they all start seeing black and white, and they go, "Whoa, this is weird." Yeah, and there's this well-written little snippet about that. 100%.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. I mean, surely when they're in the ship, at least, but the ship's got probably more powerful shields than a shuttlecraft, and but it's the same technology. And even if they couldn't do it on the shuttle, at least on the ship, when they're in their quarters or wherever, the scene with Lan and Chapel in the medical bay, they're at least in medical bay as well. Medical bay, you have to be cut off from things like radiation. It's the medical flipping bay, so surely you're not going to have the effects of the radiation there. So you should still be able to see each other in color or see color. It's just unbelievable. It's just so ridiculous. But anyway, I'll shut up for now. It's just so annoying.
No, it's absolutely fine. All the points you're making are perfectly reasonable. It's just the writing isn't. This was obviously just such a waste of time to have to sit and watch. It was painful to get through. I was really looking forward to it being over and wondering when it was going to be over. There was... Yeah, but 10 episodes, that's all they've got, and they've done, 40% of them now? And next week we have The Muppets in Space, which, it's going to be interesting within itself. I'm going to actually lose revenue next week, because I won't be able to get my video out until the following day. And on probably one of the most talked about episodes of Star Trek in the last sort of 2 years. Yeah. So yeah, but don't expect my review, guys, until the Friday morning at the earliest. But we will, of course, still do 10 forward.
It will still be a great watch. I just want to say again, just to rewind slightly, because I thought of this just now, and this is where, as viewers or as fans of OG Trek, and how it's a good point to use as to how detached we've now become. And while I was watching that farcical torture in quotes scene, yeah, that one, I felt nothing for her, and that's the thing. That's how detached we become. I don't even care. In fact, I would have celebrated if she did die, because I just don't care. I know that sounds really horrible and morbid. I just don't care about any of these characters whatsoever. The difference is, if you went, going back to the Chain of Command episode, I was like feeling everything Patrick Stewart or Picard was feeling. As a viewer, I was like, oh my god, this
felt uncomfortable.
And it was very uncomfortable watching. If you remember the episode with the Orville where they showed how what's the robots, what they're called again? Oh my god, the race that tried to take over. Oh my goodness, I've forgotten their names.
In the Orville, sorry. Oh, the Orville, the Krill.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Is it the Krill? The androids, the robots.
Oh no, oh crikey, Isaac's race, yeah.
Isaac's
the Kalons.
Race. Yeah,
the Kalons. Yeah.
Now, if you remember the episode where they explained why they became what they were, because they were essentially used as a bunch of slaves, and you see that one scene which I found quite uncomfortable to watch, and it's not even a living thing. No. But the way that the children were kept torturing it kept falling over. Yeah. I don't even know. It's not even Isaac. It's not even a character that we've come to love. And I was feeling something for this particular unit.
Yes.
I felt so bad for it. The way it was being treated. And I actually cheered when it came out of the thing. It evolved when it had the guns. I thought, yeah, go and kill them all. That's the response.
Yeah.
Because I became invested in something which I'd never seen before. It never been introduced before in any of the previous episodes. But you immediately, because of the writing, the way it was done, it was so good and so powerful the way it was portrayed. That look, this is basically slavery, and these poor victims are being tortured on a daily basis, probably every second of every hour, and even just for entertainment's sake. And it kind of then reminds me of, how probably animals are treated for, killed for sports and fun and all of that kind of stuff. And you can relate to it. And I felt something for this character. I've now seen Uhura now. What season are we in? The 4th season is this? Or third or fourth? I don't even know. 4th season, isn't it? And I didn't care. Not one bit. Didn't give a shit. Even though she's a legacy character as well, I couldn't care less. That's the difference. That's how far detached now people have become to this garbage. That's the point I'm making.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's be honest, if they really knew anything about the Klingons can extract information without zapping someone when they lie. It's called a pain stick. If they really wanted to know where Uhura came from or what she was about, they'd have used Klingon pain sticks. The actual torture device?
I don't know what to say. I just don't know what to say.
I've got very noisy neighbours, and I have to keep the door open down here because it's so bloody hot.
Hot, yeah.
So if you do hear a dog barking, that's what that is. Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. That torture scene. It's like everyone's just phoned it in, and they are literally collecting a paycheck, and that's it. Weren't there Kazon the discount Klingons from Voyager? Yeah, Kazon. Yeah, no, it was the Kalon in the Orville, the Kalons. Yeah, and although the Kalons go on a This is the beauty of the Orville and the writing of Legacy Trek, because that's who writes it. The beauty of the Orville is, at the end of season 3, when the Kalons have been defeated and they call basically a ceasefire and a truce, and then the Kalons come to Isaac's wedding, you sort of you understand what has happened, but you understand why it happened. And the Kalon are on board the ship en masse at the wedding.
Yes.
And you don't forgive them, but you understand them. And that's, again, the power of great writing. The whole point of entertainment like that is to make you feel something.
Exactly.
To make you understand these characters. And
proper feelings, not fifis. These
not
are proper
fifis, no, proper feelings, proper emotions.
This is proper feeling. It reminds me a little bit of when I know that film was probably maybe not one of the better ones, but at the end of Star Trek V, where they invite the Klingon crew on board the Enterprise, and they're kind of mingling, and Chekhov goes to the female Klingon, lovely muscles, and and Scott is introducing that other Klingon that looks like a big version of him with the moustache, to some whiskey or something. It reminded me of that a little bit, of what you just described. The last episode of the Orville, and although they're not forgiven, it's still an uncomfortable alliance, so to speak. But you understand why, because it's been set up and developed properly and evolved properly. It's done correctly. Whereas this is just, whatever. No words.
Anti-derivative Jill joined the chat, and welcome to her viewers as well. She's basically raided the streams, as she quite often does. So thank you very much, Jill, for that. That's always appreciated. Jill has a great channel. She's had some wonderful guests on her show, including the great Robert Meyer Burnett. So please check out Jill's channel. The link is in the description. I saw a clip from Star Trek Las Vegas, and there was a panel, and was it Brannon Braga was there? Oh no, not Brannon Braga. It was Ronald D. Moore was there in this panel, and so was Chase Masterson. Chase Masterson being Lita from DS9, the bartender, the big bosomed bartender, the Triple B.
Rom's wife.
Rom's wife, yes. And she went on a political tirade, and Ronald D. Moore said was pretty much, you know, we write political stuff into the show, but we don't tell people what to think. We just make them think with the writing, and that's what we do. And that's the difference. You make someone think something or reconsider their position. And you do that by sitting down with a little bit of emotional maturity and having an objective conversation about any kind of disagreement. Yeah, Star Trek was always communicative art. It was always communicative storytelling. It was driven by the narrative. And for shows like this to come along and simply write stuff that just happens to happen shows the lack of emotional maturity from not only the writers, but the cast as well, especially when they start gaslighting people, gaslighting the fans, for simply disagreeing with them. It's an incredibly immature point of view to have, and an incredibly immature outlook on the world. You are expecting the world to bend to your will, and when it doesn't, you throw a temper tantrum. It is remarkable how immature these creatives are. And you want to talk Alex Kurtzman? I don't know the bloke, but I know what he's trying to do with Star Trek. He's already told us that he wants to use it as a platform to get his message out there, without actually stopping to think, what I have is pretty precious to a lot of people. No, they're all wrong and I'm right. Complete lack of maturity in so many different aspects. And isn't that right? Why Ronald? That's why Ronald Moore is a legend. Ronald D. Moore is a legend. He's an absolute legend. Don't get me wrong. I don't know the bloke personally. I'd love to meet him and thank him for all of his work. Who writes this garbage? And Benga. A parent will do anything to protect their child, even start a revolution. Oh God, they're just yeah. And Benga sitting there being apparently all badass according to simps on the Facebook groups. He's so badass this episode. He was just saying words. He was saying words and like he knew I don't know how he knew everything. You know, because he's supposedly an expert on Klingons because he's killed so many of them. It's like, yeah. Unfortunately, no.
You know, you have to turn up the volume to listen to him for starters, and it's just you know, the thing he was telling that story, wasn't he, about that other situation that he was in and how he just killed all those people because he says my patients were more important. Remember, I just went and killed everyone. I'm like, you're supposed to be a healer, mate. You're a doctor. You've taken a character and sliced them in half. And one part, it's almost like, you know, he's got the devil and you got one shoulder and the angel on the other shoulder, and it's just unbelievable. It's just, and you're right. How does he know so much about so much? It doesn't make any sense. Yeah. This is the thing I can't stand about New Trek. The amount of, apart from the people that should have this experience and this knowledge, i.e. the captain, what the show is supposed to be about, Captain Pike, right?
Yeah.
It's everyone else that he's the one that's made to look stupid. Spock is made to look stupid, and everyone else is like, you know, all these secondary characters, and I'm saying that with the utmost respect, but they are not the main characters if you want to look at it like in that way, in the sense that it's not. They seem to know everything about everything. You've got a Chapel who's a warrior as well, and she's a scientist, and she was able to, perform even in this episode what she did, how she was able to, manipulate the probe and hide that information and do all of this stuff. Well, aren't you supposed to be in medical by helping patients?
Yeah.
What the hell are you doing? You've got time to do all of that. You've got Laan who can do absolutely everything, and she's an unstoppable Terminator. You've got Uhura's now, just not communications, but she does X, Y, and Z. It's like everyone can do everything, but the captain can.
Yeah,
and it's just pathetic. And we had a little bit of a captain's episode. Was it the very first one of this season? And I thought at least we had a bit of Captain Pike, and he wasn't cooking stuff. But then it's just reverted back to the same old slop again, where it's almost like he's dithering with anything or any decisions, and everything he does say, it's almost like, no, we can't do it that way. It's one of the other bridge crew that say contradict him or counter him, and it's like, this is not how it's supposed to be. There is a hierarchy for a reason. Ultimately, how many times in OG Trek have we heard that at the end of the day, my decision is final, and that's an order. My decision is final, that's an order. This conversation is moot. In yesterday's Enterprise, when Picard finally listened to Guinan and about, that there's a possibility that the Enterprise C's appearance here has messed up history and we shouldn't even be here, but the other crew members, all the other senior crew were kind of opposing him, he just said, this conversation is moot, decision is made. Follow out your orders. Done. Finished. No one then dared even counter him or question him, even though they didn't like it, and they didn't think that, hang on a minute, how can you just go on a feeling from Guinan to do this, make this ultimate decision that could affect every single life or life as we know it? But they still carried out their orders, didn't they?
Yeah.
That's the point I'm making. But this is just the complete opposite. No, Captain, we can't do it like this. And now you've got a cadet. I'm waiting for the episode where the cadet tells Pike to shut up.
Yeah.
And let's do it her way. Because I won't be surprised if that happens.
I won't be surprised if that happens and Pike turns around and says, okay, sorry, didn't mean to step on you there. Like, you superior, absolute... Oh. Absolute crap. Annoying critics. I think the message has been retracted now, but he says, what shampoo does Gore use? I'm probably going to go with Timmy Gay, to be fair, because it just looks utterly ridiculous. Hello, Watch Nerd. It's great to have you here. If you'd like to join the stream, you're more than welcome. Hey, have just now seen the episode. Oh, my word. My goodness. What absolute hell you have just been through. We have... hold on. I'm just checking something here. Bear with me. Yeah, that's good. Yes, the crew have no... They sort of have no... one particular skill that they seem to focus on, other than Ortegas, who flies the ship and occasionally does other things as well. It's like, yeah, you're absolutely right. The crew can just do anything that the script requires them to do. There's no speciality. Watching says, hi all, UKDM and Guna. Need to do a couple of things. Might jump on a bit after. Yeah, absolutely. But Watching, as always, you are most welcome. Is there any chance they did it because it's a woman and you can't be mean to a woman? I wouldn't put it past them. The torture scene. Yeah, they can't jab or with pain sticks. They can only make it go, ah. Absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, as the stream is showing now, that's the character who's the doppelganger of Una, and they just took a photo, a resistance photo, like, a photo. This is the resistance. This is who's in it. Hello. Yeah. Just in case you need to find a photograph, it's on display in my quarters.
We want to go in your torture chamber. It sounds like so much fun. We've got heat lamps. We can have a pint of beer. We can have some blood wine with you in the torture chamber. We won't get cold because you got those heat lamps, so we can go every second.
It's just
unbelievable.
Sounds good.
Look at that woman's hair. Even the hair. Even if they change the hair, you would think, okay, at least the hairstyle's different.
Yeah.
For goodness' sake.
Yeah.
Seriously.
No effort. Zero effort. Trek. Mbenga, otherwise known as Dr. Blade, the Klingon hunter. why couldn't he have been the wisest, level-headed doctor we've seen in Star Trek, which makes Bones that much of a different take? Yeah, look, at the end of the day, my favourite doctor in all of Star Trek is Phlox.
Me too.
I fucking love Phlox.
Me
and
too.
I love even more that I've got that cameo from the actor. Oh, I always forget his name. Always forget his name. John Billingsley. John Billingsley. Yeah. I've got the cameo from John Billingsley where he sings about my promotion at work. It's hilarious. It's so funny. Okay. I'd love to show it, but it will get the stream demonetized. Anything on Cameo will. I'll have to show you that Goon. It's absolutely hilarious.
Oh, brilliant!
He is so random and so zany. I fucking love that man. But Phlox is absolutely my favourite Doctor because he's the He's like Doctor Dad. And he's so loving and warm and gentle and kind. He's the sort of person I just love to be in his company. Constantly. And
this is one of the reasons why Enterprise is my favourite of the lot. It's because of the characters. As I said, in all the franchises, Enterprise was probably the first that I actually liked every single one of the senior crew or the bridge crew or whatever you want to call them. I just love all the main protagonists, all of them. And I've never said this. In fact, I can't believe you just said it. I've never actually gone. I think I've said that. T'Pol was my favourite Vulcan. Even more so, I really liked her as well in Enterprise. But I also always thought that I was thinking about it. I think which is my favourite Doctor if I would have one. Of course, I love Bones because I absolutely adored DeForest Kelley. I thought he was, and apparently he was a wonderful man in real life as well. Very down to earth guy. He never got involved in all the rubbish that was going on between the other actors on the show, and he just kept himself to himself and he just did his bit, and I loved him. But in terms of the actual characters, I would say Phlox as well, 100%. I think he was done so well as a Doctor, as a character. He had layers as well. He had a background. There were some episodes about him and his backstory. But it was just, you're right. It's that warmth that he generated. He had the ultimate bedside manner, didn't he? As a healer should. Unbelievable. And it was just a joy, even in the most harshest or critical time. He had that sense of calmness about him, that aura of calmness, which actually felt real, and it emanated through the screen as well. It just he played the role brilliantly.
This is why I say he's the best Doctor.
Yes, 100%.
And I think one of the best characters. And what I loved about Enterprise is they actually introduced they had the balls to introduce a brand new race, the Denobulans, and that you experience that race through Phlox. And what better introduction to a race can you have than John Billingsley playing Phlox? It's brilliant. Bones just says, "You're dead." He's dead, Jim. Angels PS says I personally really liked Bashir. Bones is an all-time classic character. I think Bones is brilliant. He's gruff and he's always to the point. I didn't like Crusher as a Doctor. As a character. No. She was a competent Doctor, but I didn't like her as a character. I felt that she was just a little bit too. I can't really describe what I thought she was a little bit too much of, but I really didn't get along with her. Bashir,
the only thing he would say was, we need to get him to a medical bay. We need to get him to sick. Well, we can't. We're trapped on this planet and there's no way of getting there. So, yes, don't stop stating the obvious. Yes, I know you would rather have him there and or her there. Because that's the best. but you'll have to make do with what we're trapped.
We have to get him back to sick bay. I know.
She said that line so many times. It was almost frustrating. And literally every scene that she was in, that was one of the lines she was delivered. I need to get him into a medical bay. I need to get her into a medical. Yes, we bloody know that. Stop stating the obvious.
Yeah, absolutely. Bashir, he was just very green, very young. I think he developed into a great character, especially when we found out he was genetically engineered. So he's essentially a superhuman with his intellect and his hand-eye coordination. So yeah, he was great. Pulaski, I didn't like Pulaski. I'll be honest with you. I Planet X, I didn't really like Pulaski at all as a doctor. I thought she was like your crass grandma. You know, she was really quite grating. The holographic doctor, I love the holographic doctor. Absolutely brilliant. As long as it's bookended with classic Trek, holographic doctor was brilliant. But Phlox is my favourite, absolute favourite. As the worst and a straight best part of the Enterprise Borg episode when he was infected. How so? Because I thought that was really interesting. You know, Phlox just says, right, if I don't do this, I'm absolutely fucked. I'm absolutely fucked. I've got to get in this chamber and irradiate myself, and it's going to be painful. She was the female Bones. Yeah, she was. Pulaski was definitely the female Bones, but
yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
But I think she was. There's something about her I didn't get along. Favorite Doctor Hells from Gallifrey, personally. That's a different kind of doctor. Mbenga's got to be the worst doctor.
And he could have been brilliant. You know that.
He could have been so good. He could have been the new Hemmer.
Yeah, he could have been so awesome. Oh no, it's just this whispering, and I know it all as well. Another know it all. I'm like, oh, just shut up. It doesn't even. It takes away the tension as well from an episode where you're trying to build up tension. It's like the whole point of exploring it's because it's the unknown. It's the unknown, and you've got to do things, learn things, and understand how things work to maybe even be able to survive or to make something happen positively. This is all just given to them. Everything is given. Oh yeah, I know this. Oh, and we got this, and the convenience is there. Constant, contrived, lazy, convenient writing, and the characters act the same. It's like, yeah, well, I know that. Oh yeah, I know that, and I understood everything they were saying. Uhura's watch has been tortured by those heat lamps. Oh yeah, I understood everything they were saying. I understand the language. It's just like, come on, it's just so convenient and easy because it's lazy writing, so they just make everything easy. They finish the story easily. It's just the easy way out because they can't be bothered to make any effort. And to think each episode costs 10 million, I bet a big part of that is going on wages because there's nothing to see. There's nothing to see or hear, is there?
No.
So what is it going on? It's going in their pockets. That's what it's doing. It's lining their pockets. It's a joke.
Dr. Krillmaset was the best doctor in Star Trek. Changed my mind. Oh, the Krillmaset episode was amazing. Absolutely amazing. That guy was literally just like the most clinical a doctor could be. He was like, yeah, this is the disease. This is the cure. This is what we have to do to get the cure. I'll go and get the cure. Even if the cure is commit genocide, it's just nuts. Krillmaset, what a what a legend. Oh dear. Yeah, look, Mbenga, the actor's really good. I've got nothing against the actor. He's a really good actor, but he does seem to have the one role that he plays in all of the stuff he appears in. And I find this most annoying when it comes to Star Trek or New Trek, shall I say, and that's when at least one of the main characters in the show has done everything before. Burnham was the worst for it because she was like, oh, when I used to fly shuttles, oh, when I used to go on away missions, oh, when I used to cut hair, oh, when I used to lay bricks, oh, when I used to do. She's already done so much, and she's like, she's got to be in her late 20s. It's like, no, you've done naff all. And I've known people in this world who have said, oh yeah, I used to do that. Oh yeah, I used to do that. It's like, you're 17. You're 17. How have you done all the... It's bollocks.
Exactly. It's the one-upmanship stories. I think everyone has known one person like that in their lives. It's that, you might have something that's happened to you or you've experienced, and it's quite unique, quite sometimes even amazing. And as soon as you say it, then and it's a bit like when I was like, and I did this and this happened. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, you've not listened to a word I've said, but you've just got to go on about you've just trying to get a better story out there or get a better experience out there. And I think that most of us know a person like that in life, and that's what this is. And Mariner was the same in Lower Decks, exactly the same. She's a Lower Deck cadet or whatever she is, yet she knows everyone from all the franchises. She knows all the characters from all the franchises. She's met them all. All right, Will. All right, Will. He calls him Will Riker. All right, Will. All right, this from the S9. Right, it's like, how have you been everywhere? What are you? How? Oh, I know it was just a cartoon, but she was Michael Burnham 2.0.
She was awful.
They put two shows running concurrently that had two Michael Burnhams in it.
Yeah,
it was so frustrating.
Yeah, it's tawny twat.
Oh,
wasn't it?
twat.
Well, as they say, we all know someone who's been to 11 Tenerife when you've been to Tenerife. And, there's always one-upmanship. And again, it's just lack of emotional maturity. It has to, they can't ever congratulate you for your achievements. They always have to say, well, I did it better.
Spot on.
And it doesn't work in civilized society. And it doesn't work when it comes to art. Look, at the end of the day, and I'm diverging a little bit to a shameless plug again, but I'm doing these papercraft streams. Is the papercraft actually any good? Well, some people who have not seen that standard of work will say that's pretty good. And there are people out there who say, well, you've clearly still got a long way to go, but it's very good. And there's going to be people out there who say, that's a load of shit, I can do better. And I don't care. It's not really the point. The point is that there's always someone who's going to kick you in the face and say you're not good enough.
Of course.
And someone who is going to, always going to kick you down and say, I can do better. Yeah. But there's serious lack of appreciation for true talent. And these people do not have talent. They are talentless hacks. And they are brought in to write episodes. They're not Star Trek writers. They're brought in from other shows, the other places, other sources to write the odd episode of Star Trek, and they cannot keep their own continuity in line. It's absolutely unbelievable. Stephen Bromby says it speaks to the narcissism of the writers because they are using these characters as mouthpieces for their own perspective. Yeah, exactly. Instead of saying, perhaps, when it comes to Mbenga, whether Mbenga is a good character or not, they are telling you exactly how to perceive him. And people are going, oh yeah, he's badass. It's like, is he? Okay, so just let's do a direct comparison between two characters. Okay, you've got Joseph Mbenga stood next to Chief Miles O'Brien. Both are considered war heroes or war veterans. Okay, Miles O'Brien. Both characters, they regret what they had to do in the past. Although I think Mbenga doesn't regret it. He just says he regrets it, but he doesn't, because he continues the killing. And he says, "I'm always ready for a fight." But Chief O'Brien doesn't go around randomly murdering Cardassian ambassadors. Because there's always that scene, and I love it, that in The Hunted, is it The Hunted, where with the Captain Maxwell, where he's sitting there in 10 forward, apologizing to the Cardassian for being crass with him in the turbo lift. Bear in mind, Chief O'Brien doesn't like Cardassians particularly, because. And he says, "Look, I don't hate you, Cardassian. I hate what I became because of you."
You, yes.
And Mbenga would never utter a line like that.
No.
He would always go into a realm of self-pity. There's no reflection. There's no self-reflection with these characters at all. And I've said to many people that I've mentored over the years, the best thing that you can do as an individual is self-reflect. Look at your actions, look at your responses, look inward for the answers to questions about your life, because that is honestly the best piece of advice I got when I was 15 or something, around 15, and I have carried that and repeated that advice to everyone I possibly can. Look inward. And none of these characters look inward. The writers don't look inward and say, potentially, am I the problem? Kurtzman will never look inward. He'll always be narcissistic. It will always be someone else's problem, someone else's fault. It will never be him that is the problem. And I can absolutely guarantee you of that.
Because they're all perfect. Every character on New Trek is perfect. That's why. They're all perfect. They have to be. They're all entitled and perfect.
Yeah.
That's the thing. DM, I have to go.
I appreciate that, my friend.
I normally will always stay till the end, but I need to go. I've got a couple of things to do. And I just want to say thank you, as always, for having me on. I really appreciate it. And lovely to see everyone in the chat. And I hope you enjoy the rest of the stream, everyone. And I definitely will watch it back. I'll remember the point where I come off, and then I'll watch the rest of it back. So enjoy the rest of it. And thank you so much for having me on, and hopefully I'll be on for the puppet show next week.
My friend, it's always a pleasure to have you here. I really appreciate your company. Thank you very much.
Bless you. All right, take care all. Have a lovely weekend and try and negotiate the heat. I think it is apparently supposed to cool down a little bit this weekend, so all those in the UK, I think we might get some respite finally. But take care all.
Actually do something online without my kit overheating.
Exactly. All right, guys, take care all. Really, again, much love, and I will see you all soon. Take care for now.
Thanks, Guna. Take care, my friend.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Appreciate it. Bye-bye. So the wonderful Guna. If you're not familiar with Guna's channel, he really doesn't do what his name says in the States, or implies in the States. He's got a great channel where he will just do chill out gaming streams, and it's well worth popping over and spending some time with Guna on his channel when he does live streaming his games. He's an absolute legend, and he's become a very, very good friend of mine. So much love to you. So K-May 1950 says, if I watched this show on a plane, I would still walk out. Yeah, I think we all would, to be fair. Angels Pierre says, I so wish I could have a seminar with these writers. I am getting pretty decent doing these. I think they would all quit crying though. And again, Pierre, I think you're absolutely right with your prediction about their reaction to a lot of criticism, because if someone comes to me and says, "Look, your channel, you're doing this all wrong. Your channel is, your videos are doing this all wrong." If someone's coming at me from a point of experience and success, and they're saying you're doing it wrong, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to stop. I'm going to look at what I'm doing. I'm going to self-reflect, and I'm going to try and improve. That's how we grow as human beings. That's how we become better human beings. That's what Star Trek inspired so many people to do. And Picard has always been noted as the negotiator, the stop and think captain, and rightfully so. But Star Trek taught me how to think, not what to think. The writers conveyed their messages through the writing, but they never said that differing opinions were wrong, and they never gaslighted people, and provoked people the way that New Trek writers do. They never did that. Yeah, look, I'm not putting them on a pedestal, and I've had multiple comments on my videos saying, look, you got to pull the diamond out of your ass and just sit down and enjoy it, to which I respond, just F off, because I'm not interested in you going, you should enjoy it just because it has Star Trek in the name. That's a load of absolute trash. But, you know, I'm not one of these people that will stare in the face of something and just call it shit for being shit. I wanted Strange New Worlds. I wanted to be wrong about Strange New Worlds, and I said in my very first Strange New Worlds video, it's better, but they still missed the point of Star Trek. And there were episodes of the first season that I kind of liked. I thought they were not too bad, quote unquote, not too bad. But it's just gone downhill so very quickly, as I knew it would, because it's Akiva Goldsman's baby, and Akiva Goldsman is not attached to any kind of project that's really worth anything. You know, you look at what Akiva Goldsman's been involved in, and it's so lackluster. And spearheading a show like this, a franchise like this at this point in time, so far with one pretty average, I would say average opening season for Star Trek, because every first season's got its rocky bits. It had potential, and then it's just wasted all that potential. Wasted it. Yeah, these days a lot of companies sugarcoat the new people and practically baby them, and they can't handle even basic criticism. You know what I ask when someone tells me that I'm wrong? How do I do it? Yeah. How do I do it better? How do I do my video? You know, I can safely say, from when I was editing my first Discovery video, well, I started editing my videos in season 3 of Discovery, I believe. That's when I got my first bit of editing software and started having a play. Before that, those videos are no longer available, but I used to do them in just a wanna, and you saw all my faults and all my points. And I used to, when I went through the entire editing process, I would start at 5 o'clock in the evening and not finish till 1 o'clock in the morning. Okay? What am I doing wrong, and how do I do it better, says Stephen Bromley. Exactly, that's how you grow. And over the years, I've picked up a lot of new skills. I've managed to get, I managed to film and edit that video in an hour and a half. That was insanely quick for me. I've gone from 6 hours of editing and being knackered by the end of it, by the way, because it's been 1 o'clock in the morning and I'd have to be up again at 5 in the morning, to getting it down to an hour and a half and still being able to enjoy my Thursday evening. It's insane. But I've still had people going, your sound is terrible, your background needs work, do this, do that, and things will be better. And I've tried to improve wherever I can. And the same goes for, things like your work, your job, and things in your life. You always strive to do better, otherwise you're just going to get stuck in a loop. And take criticism. It's, yeah, fair enough if someone's saying you're fucking shit because you do this and you do this fucking shit and it's not constructive, then it's just someone spouting off emotion at you. But if someone says, I would do this, give this a try, always be open to it. Annoying Critic gives a $5 super chat. My friend, that's not necessary, but thank you very much. I appreciate that. As Mbenga says, no matter how many you save, it's never enough. Yes, never enough. Boo me, I'll try harder. Cheer me, I'll do more. Champion's motto. Yeah. They ask themselves, how can they destroy it more? you know, James, yeah, you're right. In some ways, they don't want you to enjoy it because their egos can't handle the rejection, and they're very ego driven. You know, they're very ego driven people. Narcissists usually are, and they can't stand it when they're wrong. And isn't that a crying shame? If they had any kind of self-awareness about them, they would be watching YouTube for feedback and going, right, they didn't like season 3, guys, or they didn't like season 1 of Picard, so season 2 will do better. And in the opening episode of season 2 of Picard, they did better. They did loads better. And you know what? They lured everyone in with a false sense of security, and then they knocked them down because the rest of that season was absolutely awful. Oh my word, another super chat's come in. Planet X, a $2 super chat, thank you very much. And he says, justice for hologram sets. Oh, Krelmaset. That is Krelmaset, the butcher. A lot of the Cardassians were butchers, weren't they? Yes, thank you, Planet X. That's much appreciated. Yeah, these lot writers don't listen to the booze. No, they absolutely don't. And Star Trek is, I wouldn't say it's dying. I'd say that our Star Trek is probably gone now, and it's not going to be coming back unless there is a major course correction in Hollywood, and I think it is an overarching problem. We do have some great quality television out there, and Gunnar is on a television show binge at the minute, and he's constantly recommending different television shows, and there's plenty of decent stuff out there. But I think Star Trek, unfortunately, may have had its day. The concept around Star Trek, and we have a lot of shows. Matt Ross has to dash. Thanks for all you do, mate. Thank you for joining, and thank you for being part of my community of like-minded individuals. It's great to have you, and I hope you're very well where you are. Just make sure you look after yourself, and yeah, we must have a catch-up soon. We've not spoken in quite some time, so yeah, look after yourself, Matt, and thank you very much for your contributions. Much appreciated. And that's why we call it an echo chamber for them, because they turn themselves off from objective critiques. Their egos won't allow them to accept it. Yeah, absolutely. Echo chambers. That's all they are. They're stuck. They're stuck in their own echo chambers, and they will not listen to any criticism whatsoever. Considering the financial situation of Paramount, when the merger doesn't happen soon, they'll have to shut down. I can't say that I know too much about what's going on. I'm not going to be like certain YouTubers and say I have friends inside Paramount and I have my sources, because I don't. I don't know what's going on. All I know is that there is absolutely no chance, I would say, of Alex Kurtzman getting his another contract. Because if he had got his contract extended or a new contract signed, we would have heard about it by now. And if he does get a new contract signed, then I will be out. I will quit reviewing Star Trek. I'll be done with it, because he has nothing left to offer. His last baby was a complete failure and got cancelled in its second season, and which we're still gonna have to sit through. I'm still gonna have to watch Academy to have reviewed nearly all of New Trek. I haven't covered Lower Decks because I don't like Lower Decks. I think Lower Decks is an awful show, and it's spiteful. It's very spiteful to Star Trek. But then, you know, I quite liked Prodigy. I must admit, it you know, it came from all the good places. How many of you out there in the chat are interested in the paper crafting side of things? How many of you have seen the paper crafting? Because I genuinely want to know, because I will be, like I say, I'm migrating it over to my art channel, because it's something that I enjoy doing. It's something Star Trek related, a lot of it, and I'll be branching off into different franchises as well. But I don't see a lot of new track fans doing this kind of, you know, doing any artwork. I see painters on Facebook, because I follow a lot of different artists, and they're all painting regular classic Trek stuff, you know. So, you know, even artists and the fans are pretty much into the classic Trek era, because I think it's just genuinely the more attractive era. Not only visually with the ships. You know, if you stick the USS Voyager next to Discovery's future Voyager, I think you'll be able to tell immediately which one's the more attractive one, because the Voyager J or whatever, I don't even know, I don't even care what it's called. The Voyager that's from the 31st century looks awful. It looks like it just looks like someone's gone into a 3D rendering, like a CAD software, and just drawn a diamond, like 3 diamonds, and put them together. So unoriginal and so ugly. Looks very interesting. Japan has a lot of it for various anime. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't watch the paper crafting streams. Well, to be fair, I'm thinking of turning them into videos. I did record them. I think they are. I think they're probably worth making into videos, and they'll go on the art channel as well. But if you join the Discord, if you're in the Discord, I posted the pictures of the results in the Discord, and I think they've turned out pretty well. Especially, I did like the Enterprise Bridge one. I don't have them anywhere near, unfortunately, right now, to be able to show, and my camera's not set up anyway. I can tell you without naming people, that academy alone cost them over 100 million, and according to a source I can't name, the watch percentage of the premiere is less than 40%, and it's set the lowest rate to date. I can't say that any of what you've written there surprises me in the slightest. It's one of my biggest gripes about New Trek. The art style is so ugly. Yeah, everything is. It's just so off-putting. So off-putting. Currently under deconstruction. Yeah. There's a lot to dislike about New Trek. Picard Season 3 art style was good. I still felt the show was a little too dark. They could have lightened it up a little bit. But it was very nice to see the Enterprise D bridge back in action, wasn't it? I didn't like the fact that they made the Enterprise D move like the Millennium Falcon, but hey, you can't have everything. Well, considering the premiere lost out to a stream of a Spock action figure, not surprised to be fair. Nerdrotic is ever the legend. Gary Buechler is ever the legend for doing that and proving that point. Absolutely unreal that a show that cost well over 100 million was outstreamed by a Spock action figure. Oh, when you say it out loud, it's ridiculous, isn't it? Absolutely ridiculous. Sorry, just cleaning my glasses here, because it's got a bit smudged. Very British thing to do, clean your glasses. A bit like Giles from Buffy. Gary is awesome, by the way. Yeah, look, Gary Buechler is, veteran YouTuber now. And yeah, I agree with quite a bit of what Gary says. He's he seems like a he seems a bit like a grown up. To be fair, he's quite mature. He's been through a lot in his life. He's struggled with many forms of addiction, and he's spent time in the slammer, but he's come out of it. And he now is a successful YouTuber. As my door slams shut because of the nice cool breeze we've got now. Oh, that's so nice. And what's even worse, the watch percentage of the last episode of Academy, it was less than 25%. And yes, I asked if the person was joking too, but I saw the real number. 25%. That's atrocious. Absolutely atrocious. But yeah, Gary is awesome. I like the drinker as well. For the most part, I agree with a lot of the drinkers' points of view. I would say I'm less of a fan of Mauler. To be fair, I got a feeling we wouldn't gel very well. But why other countries hate it? I'm not sure about that one. But yeah, there's plenty of great YouTubers out there that cover popular culture, and I'm not really into the ones that are just doing it for rage clicks. I don't really want to do rage click stuff, and I don't really want to watch rage click stuff. Doomcock, I believe, used to be really good. I don't watch his content very much anymore because I think his message of stay angry isn't really a viable message. It's a case of, again, you just have to be emotionally mature about the whole situation when it comes to new Trek, and say it's not Star Trek. It's why I don't call it Star Trek in my reviews. I'll always open my reviews by naming the show rather than the franchise it's trying to be. I tried to watch some of the other more positive reviews of these shows, but by God, they just sucking random things out of their fingers and let the episodes seem good. Yeah, exactly. He dropped the soap and now he has gay lisp, unfortunately. James Caserta, I have no idea. I'm not following at all. Yeah, there are Star Trek shills, of course, and there are Star Trek channels that are tied to Star Trek in many ways and have to give good reviews, or at least go, oh, here's the good and here's the bad. And I've always tried to be balanced on this show, on this channel. Always try to give a balanced approach about new Trek. I always try and point out something good, and I usually that I say usually, more recently that has been something along the lines of, well, it was a good idea in concept but poorly executed. That seems to be something I seem to be repeating myself on quite a lot these days. This latest episode of Strange New Worlds was quite simply pointless. There was no point to telling the story whatsoever. If had it been a Trek episode from classic Trek, any of the classic Trek series, it probably would have been akin to some of the lesser regarded episodes, but even lower than, I would say, Move Along Home. This one, it's the new Trek doesn't even have come close to equivalency on that one. There was nothing really redeeming for me about this episode of television at all. There's no redeeming qualities of it. The narrative was shockingly bad. It was so poor. The filming style was everywhere was so poorly lit. I think it was Annoying Critic said earlier. Everyone looks blurry. Nothing looks sharp and crisp, like it should, in a film noir. And I'll always maintain that Sin City, the movie Sin City, was a great example of what can be done. But yeah, there's, narratively speaking, very little explanation as to what's going on. The writers are even telling us that it's just, she has a doppelganger because of the laws of statistics in the universe. It's like, yeah, but you do realize that they, at this point in Star Trek, they've not explored the universe. They have explored a little tiny bit of the galaxy. A fraction of the galaxy. Stop treating it like something universal. It's not. Absolutely bizarre. And I can't wait to hear the explanation about how they've all been turned into puppets. Because they're going to have something. I mean, they're not... one thing I've noticed about the Strange New World writers, they'll always present something to get a reaction, like puppets and like the gimmick episodes. They'll always present something so people go nuts and go, well, how is this? It's going to be shit. And they'll have an explanation up their sleeve that they think is pure bar of gold pressed latinum, but it's really not, and it just doesn't work narratively or scientifically. And I mean, there's no... I can say now, and I don't know how well this will age in a week's time, but I can say now with some certainty that there will be no rational scientific explanation as to why or how they've been turned into puppets, just how they've been turned into puppets and how they're able to exist as felt puppets. The only one thing that I will accept at this point is they're some kind of animatronic avatars or perhaps holograms. But the description, the plot synopsis for the episode is very clear. It says a transporter accident turns some of the Enterprise crew members into puppets. So it's some kind of transporter accident, and it's not like Rascals from The Next Generation, where a transporter accident has, de-aged 4 members of the crew. And it's not like Tuvix, where a transporter accident has merged 2 people together to form a unique individual that Janeway then murders. No, it's not like... It's not like the next phase where there's a transporter accident where Geordi and Ro are saturated with chronoton particles and end up phasing through bulkheads and invisible to the naked eye. Star Trek's rife with transporter accidents. It's not like there's a transporter accident where the crew's going to get their neural patterns stored in the station in the Defiant, and their physical features, physical bodies are, stored in the holodeck. I'm really looking forward to hearing how they're going to justify this gimmick. The what I would call the ultimate gimmick. This is level 10 gimmickry. Level 5 transporter accident. Yeah, level 5 indeed. So yeah, I'm not sure where they're going to go with that. I can tell you now, I'm going in the episode extremely skeptical. I like to go in as balanced as I can, but the suspension of disbelief has been overspent in this season so far, and I can think of nothing redeeming about this season. I don't agree with certain podcasters that, the first episode was quite strong. If you go and you look at the episode, yeah, it was a good one if you switched your brain off, but it was atrocious if you really think about it. It's simply another gimmick they rip off only to do it worse. Yeah. I mean, like I say, I don't know whether my lad's watching, so I can't really say, but because there's a spoiler. But another show did that, and it didn't, and they were able to do that because it was mystic. It was mysticism. It was magic, and they, these immature writers, these people who don't understand science fiction, think it's all mysticism. I mean, you think, if you look at the stereotype, which is a stereotype for a reason, the stereotype, typical popular blonde college girl, growing up, and that kind of character, that they never really leave college when they grow up biologically mature. They don't mentally mature, and they still got that. This guy's a geek. This guy's a nerd. The sort of attitude. You look at those sorts of people, think and what they think Star Trek is, and you think, generally speaking, when I say I make YouTube videos on Star Trek, I tend to get generally just sighs from everybody, because they think, oh, I'm just this sad geek who's not grown up, when in fact I'm a regular guy who has a big interest in a great franchise that makes you think. You look at those people, and they look at Star Trek as pew pew lasers and space, and live long and prosper, and all the typical standard catchphrases that Star Trek is known for. That's all they see Star Trek as. They don't see it as intricate storytelling. And I've had a few times in my life where I've introduced someone to Star Trek, and they said that is not at all what I expected it to be, because they look at Star Trek through pretty much normie eyes, and it's just Star Trek. It's just beam me up, Scotty, and all this silliness. And they see the fans going to conventions dressed as Spock and dressing up as Klingons, and they don't understand the culture behind it. That's what these writers are for New Trek. That's what these people do. They are writing Star Trek as this goofy, silly sci-fi show, whereas actually it was seriously written science fiction. It was science fiction for adults that elevated young minds and allowed them the critical thinking and critical mental processes in order to mature into a reasonably stable human being. It assisted in that. Saved a lot of people's lives. Saved a lot of people from falling into the wrong crowd and getting arrested. Certainly in my case. Star Trek kept me away from that sort of thing, and enabled me to spend many years, and this is not a gloat, by the way, many years becoming quote unquote interesting, having interesting hobbies. I was told today, because I told someone about my papercraft stuff, and they said, that sounds really interesting. It sounds like you're really good at it. And I showed pictures, and I'm going to show pictures. And it's a skill. Art is a skill. You spend time developing art. Do you think artists are geeks and nerds? They're not. They're just people who are passionate and talented, and they create these wonderful images. Something for others to enjoy. Same goes for writing. You can create and write great stories. Andy Weir's Project Hail Mary, brilliant. The film, brilliant. Absolutely wonderful piece of storytelling. Star Trek always had great pieces of storytelling until New Trek. New Trek sucks. It isn't Star Trek. And people, people say, well, I actually enjoyed it. Well, that's great. That's great. If you enjoyed it, that's fantastic. I've got no issue with anybody enjoying anything New Trek. No issues whatsoever. But I find that others have a bigger problem with the fact that I didn't enjoy it. I have no issue with them enjoying it, but they take massive issue with me not enjoying it, to the point where they tell me to shut the fuck up and just sit and enjoy it because it's got the Star Trek name. And I genuinely get comments like that. It's so off-putting. And it's going to get worse in season 5, in my opinion. I don't know. They've got, what, 6 episodes? I'm not sure. I don't know. They pushed the envelope off a cliff. They certainly did. They're all part of JJ's wrecking crew. JJ was... Star Trek was just a stepping stone for him to move on to Star Wars. He didn't care about Star Trek. I don't think he even liked Star Trek. Stephen Brobby, the gaslighting is strong with the shills, unfortunately. Yeah, they do. They'll just accuse you of being negative or being a troll, and they'll accuse people of review bombing Starfleet Academy. It's like, not review bombing. The review bombing only happens when it's negative. When it's negative reviews. You never see people positively review bombing stuff, do you? Why review bombing doesn't exist. It's not real. It's people giving opinions, saying that they're watching something and they're saying it's bad. It's not called review bombing. It's called reviewing. It's ridiculous. I'm not actually sure if Watchno's going to join us. She says that she's got a few things to do, but she will try and get in a little later. Temperature has really, really started to rise since that door closed. Just bear with me. I'm just going to pop it back open again. But not before. Oh, I might not actually. Bear with me. Just get sorted here. Now that was a nice cool breeze. Nice cool breeze that just come into my living room as I sit here sweating. Or if they say you don't like the new stuff, you were never a Trek fan, which is such a stupid argument. Yeah, again, it's just more gaslighting, isn't it? It's like you were never a fan of Star Trek. The ultimate gaslight was from Kurtzman when he says the people who don't like Star Trek Discovery didn't get the memo on Star Trek, and they say Star Trek's always been woke. No, we did get the memo on Star Trek because we spent 60 years watching Star Trek. We understand what Star Trek is. We know what Star Trek is. You don't know what Star Trek is, and Star Trek has never been quote unquote woke. It has always been progressive. It's a progressive show. Yes, it does push social norms, social boundaries. Sorry, it does promote pushing past social norms, and it does challenge social norms. It did so, but it did so as a addition and a tool for great writing. That's how it worked. That's what it did. New Trek jams all of that crap into the show and doesn't have the writing to back it up. The narrative. It's a tactic Jason Arsick used. Yeah, same with Rob Picardo as well. One of his comments a lot of his comments are equally tone deaf. Yeah, and you don't. look, you're never ever going to please everybody, are you? You're never going to please everybody. But I find in my professional life, it is 100% the right thing to do to keep my politics out of my place of work, out of as much as I can off of this channel as well, because my politics on my own, I have a small platform to 2,300 people. Very small YouTube platform. I have, in the grand scheme of things, I am but a lowly ant at the bottom of a very big anthill. So I don't have a lot of influence. But even if I did, I'd always try to keep my politics away from other people. Because it doesn't matter, because people aren't here to hear my opinions on government and politics. They're here to hear my opinion on a Star Trek show. And I've said this before about celebrities and how they go off on mad anti-Trump tirades, the Orange Man bad and all of that sort of stuff. I don't care in relation to Star Trek anything about the left or the right or anything like that. I don't care. What I care about is the franchise that I love and the way it chooses to handle situations. The way New Trek basically tells you you're wrong if you think a certain way, and if you don't agree with what's being said, then yeah, you don't deserve anything. It's a horrible way to be. So, you know, I think you just keep politics as far away from things as possible. Fun fact, if Academy had succeeded, he'd have gotten his own show. God. It's very creaky there, but moving my laptop. Well, thank goodness Academy tanked then, yeah. Pillar, is that Michael Pillar, was woke, but mildly so. Fine. But, you know, again, did we know? Did we care? No, because the storytelling was there. Also, don't get stuck into something being woke. I don't get stuck into something being woke. I think me and most people care if it's well written and well presented. No, yeah, no, 100%. So I really enjoyed the show Pluribus, Pluribus, whatever it was called. I really enjoyed it. And there were some potentially woke elements there, right? But I really enjoyed it. It was a great story. It was very well presented, very well written, very well acted. And concept was spot on. There were a few issues here and there, but, you know, again, if you're talking about progressive ideas, it's fine. Put them in everywhere if that's what you're going to do. But you don't write you write it into your story, but your story still has to make bloody sense. I don't care if you had a ship full of gay people. If they're great characters and they're written right, what does it matter about the range? It doesn't matter. None of that stuff matters, right? You can write allegories to it, and Star Trek did that many times. But if the story's not there, people will just think it's activism, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work for Star Trek. It doesn't work for Doctor Who. It doesn't work for Star Wars. It doesn't work. You've got to get it into their heads. Exactly. You don't have to shove it in people's faces when it doesn't make sense. Absolutely. Then you're making your show about that. You're not making your show about telling great stories. Some of the best Star Trek is just well-written episodes that feature, and far beyond the stars. I thought it's not my favourite episode, but it was certainly a head turner, wasn't it? Far Beyond the Stars, because that dealt with the effect, the individual consequences of racial hatred. It dealt with that, and it dealt with racism. It's so weird nowadays. You can't really say these words on a public platform without getting your sort of channel affected. But yeah, it dealt with it, and it dealt with it so well. It's a very well written piece of art. You had the Star Trek's dealt with so many issues. Not all of them progressive. Some of it, and I think the Orville. This is another example where the Orville got it right, because the Orville essentially, I think it was like the third episode, dealt with transgenderism to a degree with the Mocklans. It dealt with those issues, but it did it so intelligently, and it presented both sides of the argument. Mercer's side, where he says, look, she's talking about gender swapping a child. You're talking about that, and this is what, in our culture, we believe that to be wrong, as there's no consent and stuff like that. It's just... And then you've got the Moclan side of things. This is societal. This is our way. We're an all male species, and when a female is born, that is corrected. And I think it dealt with it fantastically. And then again with the follow-up episode in season 3, the Topher episode was fantastic. Very well written, very well acted, very well structured, and very well presented. It was grown up Trek. It was mature, emotionally mature Trek, the Orville. And don't get me wrong, the Orville went from being a comedy to a drama, and some people loved it when it became a drama. Some people hated it when it wasn't really a comedy anymore. But I think the Orville was the closest we got to Star Trek ever. Well, I say ever, since 2005, it's the closest we've gotten to Star Trek. Also, it's even worse in Star Trek, a future where we should have beyond, should have evolved beyond the struggles. I completely understand what you're saying, mate. Yeah, but the different races that we met were an allegory for our own history, really, weren't they? You've got the Romulans who are paranoid and suspicious, and you've got the Klingons that are warriors and driven to war, and you've got the Ferengi who are always looking for greed and to profiteer off the people. You've got the Cardassians who are cold and calculating, and the Star Trek aliens point to different parts of the human psyche. They were always an allegory for that. They were always a part of the human psyche that they used to explore. They used them to explore the different parts of the human psyche. And and with different cultures as well, learning how not to be judgmental of cultures, but certainly not to welcome other cultures with open arms without truly understanding them. Some of the greatest lessons that can be learned from Star Trek. To tread carefully, to always look before you leap. Yeah, and what have they done? Removed all or most of it. Yeah, they've regressed. The Federation has regressed. In Picard, the Federation was xenophobic. We didn't want to help. It was an allegory for a refugee crisis anyway. But Picard season 1 sucked. The big one, didn't it? With it, oh god, I hated that season of Star Trek. It was awful, absolutely atrocious Trek. A new Trek at that. Picard was just a bloody tragic sub story. Awful. yeah, the Federation. They hate they hate the concept of the Federation. They hate the fact that we like Picard. You know, the writers of Picard said that Picard needed knocking down a peg or two. It's like, why? Why? The character had a long career as one of the best diplomats in Starfleet. Why did he need knocking down a peg or two? And that's exactly the mentality these people have. They feel that they need to knock people off their pedestal and bring them down to their dark, dank level so they can say they're better than our characters. Utterly ridiculous. And the biggest example of that in Picard was Michelle Hurd's character, Raffi. Utterly deplorable character. So horrible. And she was constantly jabbing and berating Picard. Again, trying to knock him off his so-called pedestal. What a load of shit. What have they done with the androids of Picard? Picard ashamed. They could have gone the Geth from Mass Effect route, didn't they? Wasn't Picard season 1 essentially Mass Effect anyway? Sorry, thirsty. Doing a lot of talking this stream. Big thank you to Guna for coming in. Not sure if Watch Nerd's going to make it, but it's okay. I only want to go to 3 hours anyway, and we've got about half hour left. So yeah. No, hated Picard, and it just they just wanted to they saw a lot of people thinking that Picard was probably their favorite captain, and yeah, they tried to basically destroy the character, and that's all they know how to do, is to destroy. They don't create. Narcissists don't create, they destroy. Absolutely destroy. Hey, we're doing very well for live views on this stream. 121 views already. Don't forget to hit that like button if you haven't already. Give us a like for the stream, and that will help the stream to reach new places, and the engagement as well. It's all nice to be reading all your messages in chat as well, as you're keeping me company. Not really. The Geth are much better written, and in Mass Effect 3, you like them. Yeah, well, again, isn't that just pointing to the Kalons from the Orville as well? You end up sort of sympathising with them and understanding why they became just genocidal maniacs. You don't condone what they do, but you certainly understand it. Because it makes sense. The writing makes sense. Yeah, the Picard season 1, I think, was a catastrophic failure. It was awful. Picard season 2 was like something out of the bloody Twilight Zone. Again, truly awful. And laughable. It was a big joke, and it actually kicked my channel off. And sort of gave it the views did Picard season 1. So yeah, get your chats in. I'm going to give the stream another half hour of me prattling on, because I'm starting to get a little bit dry in the mouth and dry in the throat. I really, to be fair, it's actually really warm in here. I'm not too far away from going to bed, but I'll stay with you for another half an hour. So if there's anything any of you want to say, then stick it in the chat. I'll try and get some more streams done this weekend. I am aiming to. I just hope my equipment manages the temperatures. It just seemed to get very slow. The camera was glitching out and everything, so it was pretty difficult. I had to just stop the stream and cancel it altogether, because the camera just was not keeping up. And if you can't see what I'm doing, what's the point? SJW activism and propaganda. Yep. Well, Kurtzman said that's what it's a platform for. It's not about writing Star Trek. It's about activism. And in all honesty, I think that's the attitude that's ultimately killing a lot of stuff. I'm just reading some comments here. We're up to 2,385 subscribers. So thank you very much, people, for subscribing. If you are new here, it's very nice of you. They'd deny it, of course. It's because it's unconscious. I think it's very conscious. I think it's just, they just deny it because they're gaslighting people. Absolute gaslighting. And you know, I think the fandom in general has sort of moved away. They're not quite as defensive as they used to be with Star Trek: Strange New Worlds, because the sort of comments that I got, I've had very few, if any, on the latest video I've had, or I have had very few, or if any, overly negative comments towards my video. Negative comments towards the episode, of course, but not the video. So if I go back, all the way back to when I was a wee lad and I started reviewing Strange New Worlds the very first time, all those years ago. So Strange New Worlds, Season 1, Episode 1. Here we go. I want to look at the comments. 582 comments in total. Let's see. So, man, did you get it wrong. This is the best first season of any Trek since TOS. Clearly have not seen The Emissary. I've tried to like it. The show sucks. Oh my god. They did great. Really? Really? Yeah. Because I said in my video that they really missed the mark, and someone says to me they did more than try. They succeeded. I loved it. For the first time in years, it felt like it did when I was watching the original series with my grandpa when I was a kid. I have nothing but praise for it so far. Okay, that's fair enough. And again, people can go and like this show. Absolutely, by all means, go and enjoy it. But there are a lot of people that don't, and this show just went massively, wildly downhill. Someone says just watched you for the first time. Based on this video, I have subscribed. Looking forward to your next. Oh, bless. Yeah. Sorry, I'm literally just reading through them here. This show already sucks. Picard is so bad that even if Strange New Worlds were good because it was written by minds creating Picard, it would still be bad. Oh. This one is quite a differential one here. The good episodic, good special effects, visual. Yeah, episodic didn't last, did it? Episodic did not last at all, because every episode is previously on Strange New Worlds. Good special effects visuals. Some of the women are good looking. Good ship designs. The bad. Giant steaming piles of woke nonsense, about 5% less woke than Discovery. Oh, that's crazy. Actually, I think you may have missed the mark. Hold on. So that's like a good one. Oh, on one of the characters, Laan Noonien Singh is being portrayed as rude on purpose because eventually the character is going to be friendly. That's the most likely part of this character's arc. She's very guarded to start, but will make friends and let her hair down at some point. Oh, I don't think so. Oh my word. I don't think that actually happened at all. Some of these. Now that's really nitpicking. That's the best new Star Trek. When you don't like it, don't watch it and leave it. Don't be bashing it. Don't be bashing it. Again, if you dislike it, you're bashing it. If you if you disagree and you don't like something, they say, "Oh, don't watch it." Then it's like, but it's carrying the Star Trek name. Well, it's just not for you. And isn't it interesting? They said when they created the different shows that if you don't like Picard, you can go to Strange New Worlds. You like Strange New Worlds. If you don't like Strange New Worlds, you go to Discovery. If you don't like Discovery, you go to Picard and Lower Decks and Prodigy and stuff like that. And I just think, no, what you're essentially doing is you're dividing the Star Trek fan base to such a degree that people who watch and like Strange New Worlds that don't like Picard get pissed off because Picard should be as good as Strange New Worlds. And I personally think it should all be as good as classic Trek, but it's simply not. It's absolutely ridiculous. Hello, Jackson Daniels. Very good point there, mate. Message retracted. Fantastic. Yeah, I got told off a lot in the comments for calling her discount drummer. That was funny. This review was worse than Star Trek Discovery. Here's another one that I used to get quite often. Your negativity brings back memories of the negative whining fans when TNG started. Just scrolling the comments section shows me a good percentage of folks enjoyed it. Like, yeah, okay. So, vindicated much? Oh. Here's one. You'll love this one. Are you ready, everybody? At least no one insults the captain yet. Oh dear. There's a really good one. Jeez, move on, nerds. Oh dear. I put a correction on. Oh, I want to read this to you. This is a nacelle issue correction because I said I didn't like the single nacelle on some of the ships. I don't like that design anyway. Hi all, just wanted to clarify if you enjoyed this first episode of Strange New Worlds, then that's great. My review is just my thoughts on the episode. I actively encourage everyone to go and watch the episode if you so wish. I did a review of Star Trek Picard Season 2 Episode 1 and had the same opinion as a lot of you. I thought it was much closer to Star Trek than anything that had come before from Kurtzman. Then Picard went off a cliff and suddenly the quality and story went down the toilet. I was genuinely knocked and was pretty much approaching each episode with caution. Whilst I think generally that this show has a high probability of doing the same, I wanted to give it a fair chance. With New Trek in general, there is a pattern. There's the hook, the draw to draw you in, and then comes a line and sinker. Only time will tell on the issue of on the point of the nacelle issue. I was aware that there have been ships of this kind before, but it must have skipped my mind. My bad. This ship is still ridiculous in my mind. Hey, that's just my opinion. Genuine thanks to everyone who has commented with their thoughts. Just remember to be respectful of others, because I was just getting sheer abuse. It was really funny. Woke is all about big dollar investments. I mean, to be fair, there's just so many comments. I couldn't read them all out, but and again, you know, Strange New World started off really positively. But it just fell down. It just went so far down the hill. Sci-Fi Shipyard commented. He's brilliant. Clayton Rumley, again, great friends of the channel. If you haven't already, go on Amazon and look for Holocene. It's called Holocene. It's Clayton's book. And he's brilliant writer. He's a fantastic writer. And Holocene is a great book. Absolutely brilliant. He's working on part 2, part 3 as well. This is just a lot of funny. Yeah, check out Clayton and go and check out Clayton's channel. He's like overtaken me massively in subscribers, which is absolutely fantastic for him. You know, he's really sort of, his channel's really surged. He's done some excellent work over there, and his reviews are really sort of interesting. It has a very interesting approach on Star Trek and you know, not just Star Trek, but you know, I think he's done a few Rick and Morty reviews as well, and Quantum Leap, the new Quantum Leap, as terrible as that was. But I always find Clayton to be one of the fairest reviewers out there, and he's so level-headed. He's such a kind individual as well. I really miss him, and I want to get back in. I want to make sure I get the chance to speak to him. He's going through some challenges at the moment, so we haven't got an awful lot of time to talk. Jackson Daniels, hello, greetings from San Francisco, UK danger man. Strangely enough, I agree. This episode was stupidly written and utterly implausible, and yet I enjoyed episode 4 more so than the last 2. I actually would say that I enjoyed the Event Horizon one more than this one, and I didn't enjoy the Event Horizon one because I've seen a better version of it. It was called Event Horizon, but no, I understand. You know, and some people have said to me, "Look, I really enjoyed this episode. I'm actually quite conflicted," and it happens sometimes where you enjoy something, you're not exactly sure why you enjoyed it, but you enjoyed it. Perhaps it could be the mood that you're in at the time. I've found that has had an effect. I've been quite forgiving of some new Trek episodes, and again, Picard season 3, I was quite forgiving because its heart was in the right place. It was just having to sweep up far too much debris, as well as trying to make something yeah, and yeah, I think it was just trying too much to clean up mess that was left behind from previous 2 seasons. But yeah, and hey, you know, not everybody agrees with everything other people say. That's the beauty of the human race. We can disagree on things. It only gets ugly when you have a lack of self-reflection and a lack of self-awareness, and you believe wholeheartedly that you are right and everyone else is wrong. Then, you know, much in the way that, you know, the Jedi warn, fear leads, you know, anger leads to hate, hate leads to fear, you know, it all leads to suffering. Don't ask me for the exact quote, it's very late here. But you know, it's very true. You know, you if you believe you're right and you won't take any other answer, then you're not emotionally mature, just like these writers are not emotionally mature enough to do it. So We'll say 15 minutes. 15 minutes to the end of the stream. We can do it. We can make the 3 hours. I'll make the 3 hours work. And then I will say goodbye. I hope you're all enjoying the stream. Can we get up to 20 likes on this stream before it comes to an end? I'd certainly like to see that happen. If you wouldn't mind, if you haven't already hitting that like button, that would really help out. And yeah, we will no doubt say a very stiff goodbye to probably one of the worst episodes of Strange New Worlds I've ever seen. US presidents all had to try to avoid being owned by special interest group investments. Yeah, I mean, personally, I think that if you're in a position of power or influence in any government in the Western world, you should be outright outlawed from owning stock in any defense contractor business, any business that's related to defense or politics in any way should be outright, outlawed from having any kind of investment opportunities whilst you're in office. Once you move back into the private life, then you're in the private sector. It doesn't matter. But yeah, no one working for government should have anything to do with business in terms of investment, because that just leads to corruption. That's my opinion anyway. My basic thoughts of a very dense individual who occasionally makes YouTube videos. So next week, I want to put this out there that next week I won't be giving you a video on Thursday. There will be no video on Thursday for the Puppet episode. It will be coming earliest Friday morning. Okay, that's a warning to you all. It won't be coming on a Thursday. If it does come on a Thursday, there's trouble. Basically, I can't get the video done on Thursday. We are busy from around about 7 in the morning till probably close to midnight on Thursday. I simply won't have any time to do it. So I will be doing it Friday morning. I will probably kick Mrs. Dangerman out of bed and sit upstairs, watch the episode, and do my video, and then it will probably be releasing a couple of hours before next week's Evening in 10 Forward, which is installment number 99. We are so very close to 100 installments, and it has been we've been doing this a couple of years now, and we've been really enjoying it. It was started on a whim. I just decided to get a few of my Discord users together and get them on stream just for a general conversation. Then we went to a regular hosting, the what we call the trio, myself, Watch Nerd, and Xell. And then I decided to try and rotate hosts, get some different hosts in week to week. I haven't managed an installment every week because obviously life gets in the way. But we are very, 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 very close to installment number 100 of this show, and it has been an absolute pleasure to do it, even to my small community of wonderful people, which is all of you out there in the chat and watching post live. And if you haven't already joined the Discord, then please do. It is free to join. It's you just download the Discord app, set up a quick account, hit that link in the description, and join the Discord channel. It's quite a nice little area that people hang around in. Also, it's where I run my live my live conversations from. So My review is coming out now. Okay. Yeah, so yeah, join the Discord because it's good fun in there. There's several different categories of channels and stuff like that. So yeah, come on into the Discord. Don't be afraid. And if you don't know how to use Discord, you're not alone. I'm still learning how to use it. It's so easy to use though in terms of messaging and putting stuff out there. If you think of it as your own, it's my own little social media private chat room essentially. Loads of people in there already. I've got about 50 members, which is not too bad for a small channel. So yeah, do join that. Doesn't cost you anything, and you get to meet some interesting people. Come on, come onto the microphone, have a chat, and stuff like that. So join the Discord. 10 forward will be normal next week. It's just a video that will be late. I will be doing a papercraft stream on Sunday probably. I don't think I'm going to get the opportunity tomorrow. I will try and get one done on Sunday. We'll be starting the Enterprise NX-01, and because we've done the Enterprise D, the Enterprise D bridge, we've done the Defiant, and we've done the USS Voyager, so we're going to be moving on to the NX-01 on the papercrafting streams. And I'm wondering actually I think I might be able to find some of the papercraft results of the papercrafting, because I do have a few pictures stored on this laptop, I believe. Just bear with me. Uno momentous, because it would be in the Discord, I imagine. I might be able to bring them up here. Just bear with. But yeah, the papercrafting, it's a lot of fun, and people come down for a chat and everything. Let's see if we can. Oh yeah, we can do that. Okay, well, we can just save the image, and it'll go into there, and I can put it into the stream. So let's have a look. Yep. I mean, it's taken with a phone camera with a under intense light, so they'll be coming on very shortly. Just bear with me. So I've been doing papercraft streams. You probably don't even know what they are, so it'd be good to show you an example of that. Just bear with me. My TV's going to switch off, and here we go. Downloads. The stream is going to look exceptionally messy for a short minute. Let me just pop them in there. Boom! And it's going to look messy. There we go. I'll switch them off, and we'll bring them back one by one. So this was my first one. This is the Defiant. Oh god, did the wrong thing there. Being a bit of a douche. Here we go. There we go. So that one was the first one. My first ever paper crafting attempt. That was the Defiant. And I decided then we were just going to go all out and do every... we're going to do the Enterprise D bridge as well. So this one's the Enterprise D bridge, and it's just across a couple of streams. Turned out pretty well, that one. I was quite happy with that one. And then we had, of course, the ever loved, excuse me, I'll get it right in a sec. The ever loved Enterprise D, there as well. And finally, the USS Voyager, which was the last one that I did. So these paper crafting streams, they're just a bit of fun, chance for us to get together. Maybe you might find it a bit relaxing as well, and it's certainly a lot of fun for me. Jackson Daniels with a super chat. Fantastic. Thank you so much. $10. Wow, very generous of you. Unfortunately, the glamorous period aesthetic painted backdrop look of the show, along with Una and Nuhura's hair, makeup, and outfits, were the highlights of the mostly aesthetics-based enjoyment. Yeah, don't get me wrong, some of it is more aesthetically pleasing than, pleasing in terms of content and stuff like that. So yeah, let me get rid of these. So yeah, those are the sort of things we'll do on the paper crafting streams. So yeah, if you want to join, head on over to UKDM Art and subscribe to the channel, so you'll hit the bell notification so you're notified when I go live and all that YouTube gumph. But yes, thank you so much, Jackson Daniels. Very, very much appreciated. Never necessary, but always appreciated. So yeah, that's coming up to the end of the stream now, guys. Get your final chats in. Just anything that you want to say on closing, and at some point I will be streaming again on Sunday. I'll put it in the Discord when I'm going live. And yeah, Strange New Worlds gives us another sour treat. It's just a big turd on a plate, a big nothing burger. Nothing that advances the story in any way. Nothing that it is pretty much a closed episode that achieves nothing, goes nowhere, and is simply just a gimmick. Something to you're proving that Star Trek is now just people's plaything, and they're playing with it in front of you and breaking it in front of your face, in front of your very eyes. Your favorite toy is being destroyed by the schoolyard bully. And this show is obviously cancelled. It's done. I say it's cancelled. It's probably was down for a 5-year run, but I can tell you now they have no they had no clue on how to do anything more than 5 or 6 episodes for season 5. So yeah, it's no good. Planet X says, fun stream. I appreciate that, my friend. I'm glad you found some entertainment in it. Stephen Bromby says, here's hoping they shelve season 5 of Strange New Worlds. Mate, I really wish they would, but I can tell you now, they're never going to do that in a month of Sundays, mate. Never in a month of Sundays. They're just like they're not going to... I don't think they're going to shelve Academy season 2 either. I think they're just going to go in, hands down and just get it out there, because they don't want to waste the money. They don't want to Batgirl it. Yeah, could write it off as a tax write-off, I suppose, but I think it's somewhere in Kurtzman contract and a Goldsman's contract. It would say you are to show the entirety of the show, or there'll be some kind of clause, something in there. You just know it. But yeah, that is about it, guys. I am gonna call it a day. This has been an evening in 10 Forward, installment number 98. Come back next week for installment number 99. Fair one, if one can dream, though, mate. We're always dreaming. We're dreaming of better Star Trek. We're dreaming of better television. We're dreaming of a much better experience. And there's nothing wrong with dreaming. I just hope one day we can live the dream. It has been a genuine pleasure being your host for this evening. I hope everybody out there is going to look after themselves, look after one another. Come and join the Discord. Come and join the community. We're very welcoming. We do not bite, and it's free. And it's good fun. It's genuinely good fun. Don't forget to hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And until next time, which for me will be Sunday for the Papercraft on my art channel, don't forget to go over and subscribe to that. Until next time, you guys look after yourselves. You look after one another. You take care.